Yeah, but we're live.
We are live.
I can't stop it once I hit the button.
Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we're live for the day 3 of the NFL Draft 2019. Super excited. Super excited. By the way, John, I need you to share the public YouTube link.
I did already.
Did you? Okay, well.
There's a post on CSR.
Oh. I'm going to fuck off real quick while I put it on Twitter and Facebook, so have at it.
Yeah, if you're listening, you can go to CSR, and there's a thread on CSR where you can ask questions, or you can ask questions in the live YouTube chat. Either way, and during the course of the day, we will answer them if they're not too weird and we have time.
That was weird. Sorry, I went off on my phone. So I heard him on my phone and in my headset, and that.
Oh, were you overwhelmed?
Were you overwhelmed, Brian?
I was slightly overwhelmed. Yeah.
All right, and now there's no one left to make fun of me for being overwhelmed by the.
To be fair, it was on my phone and my headset. That's a little bit worse than what you dealt with, John.
I don't think it's worse than having it, both of them playing in your headset.
No, it's crazy if they're both in your headset. Like it's nuts.
So Brian, Will Grier takes. Go.
Hold on, I'm still doing my social media czar stuff. Why don't you guys talk for a minute?
I regret that we didn't get to do this when we drafted him, because we did a show, Brian, for like 2 hours after you left.
Really?
And yeah, we didn't stop until like 11, or it felt like 11.
It was like the 80th pick or something. It was like after the Panthers.
Yeah, it was after the Panthers would have picked if they didn't trade. And that was Chase Vinovich, by the way. And yeah, but that was my only regret, is that I didn't get to have my Will Grier reaction take live, because I think that it's hilarious that we picked him, and I also think it's smart.
So, all right, I'm tweeting the link. Okay, so here's my thing. So I was out at the bar last night when it happened, and my brother fucking texted me and said that they drafted Will Grier, and I honestly thought he was fucking with me, because he's been telling me they're going to draft Will Grier for the last 2 days. So then I go on ESPN and find out they actually did take him, and I just kind of broke down laughing at the bar. I think people thought I was insane. I probably almost got thrown out. But yeah, I think it was. I wish that they had done this without giving up their other third-round pick, I guess is the best way to put it. And not that they gave it up for Will Grier, but that they didn't have to do that to get Greg Little. Because I mentioned this back on Twitter a few months ago, but I think the Eagles are a really good case study for what you should do in regards to a backup quarterback. Because what happens if Carolina makes the playoffs last year with Cam Newton's shoulder? You got their 2 scrub backup quarterbacks. They're not going anywhere. They've spent some high draft capital on Will Grier. Now, maybe they could be competitive. There's a chance that maybe they could win with a guy like him. So, I mean, I don't hate the pick. I just hate that they couldn't address other needs before that. Like safety. Colin Jones starting rip.
I'll let John do the safety take, because we agree, and he hasn't got to talk yet. So
about the part where the starting safety everybody thinks we should draft probably isn't going to be starting or will suck.
Yeah,
that's the take. When I wrote my pieces back in January, I think it was, about positions of need and where they hit and where they bust relative to league average. I looked at the last.
I'm here, guys.
What's up, Billy?
I looked at the last 10 drafts, and this was based on the Panthers having the 77th pick. So I looked at third-round safeties drafted at or after pick 77 in the last 10 years. There were 14 of them, and exactly 1 has turned into a full-time starter.
Oh, man.
I don't know who it is because I don't have it in front of me anymore, but one of them, 1 out of 14 started at least 75% of his team's games since he got drafted, and it was 4 out of 14 started half of their team's games. So
Yeah.
I mean,
you're-
Kevin Byard was a third-round pick.
I mean,
he
we're
picked
not
at
getting. We're at 100. We were not going to get Troy Polamalu. I mean, it's just that's
I don't
not. We're
I don't
not
think you were
getting that.
I don't think you were getting Trey Palomalo, but you probably could have got an upgrade on Colin Jones or Rashawn Golden.
Well, I mean, I think Brian would be an upgrade on Colin Jones, but I don't think that we will go the rest of all day today without getting a safety. Like there are still some decent guys still on the board.
that's the other thing. It'll be so funny after all of the uproar about not taking a safety at 100. If one of the safeties that people think we should have taken at 100 is still there at 115,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of maybe
Chauncey
I
Gardner
overreacted.
Johnson, Amani Hooker, Deontay Thompson, Jaquan Johnson, Marvell Tell, and Sheldrick Redwine are all available right now.
Red wine.
That's 6 safeties that are still there. And I don't think we're going to see a run on safeties from pick 103 to 115. Like I don't think that's going to happen. It could, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it will. I think we can get either Gardner Johnson or Hooker at 115. Now that doesn't mean that Marty Herney's not going to pick a linebacker
That's exactly what I fear.
because that's what Marty Herney does. But at that point, you can just blame Marty Herney for just not drafting a safety rather than there wasn't a safety there to draft.
The other thing is that we're past the point of drafting players with the hope that they're immediate contributors, or at least being good immediate contributors. The other thing I've said, like, if we draft a safety at pick 100, which is like, it's essentially a 4th-round pick. It's between the 3rd and 4th round. You could just as easily call it an early 4th-round pick. The odds are if they're forced to start, they're more than likely going to be that guy that everybody hates after week 6. Like, oh,
Yeah,
guy's a liability in coverage, like the new
Yeah.
Byron Bell type.
Haruki
type thing.
Nakamura or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll make one mistake and be damned to eternity.
Yeah,
No.
like, the ship has sailed on drafting immediate key contributors unless we get extremely lucky. And you
Yeah,
don't
we're
count
we're
on
looking. Yeah, we're looking at depth, special teams, and
that-
backups. That's
and
what we're
that-
looking at now.
No, I totally agree. I think that's why I'm more open to the idea of trading down and picking up some more picks.
Yeah, just throw a
Daniel says in the thread, Herney made a comment last night that suggested Greer wasn't necessarily BPA and that they would now go BPA for the rest of the draft. Yeah, he said that last night that they're looking at, they got the 3 guys they wanted. Now they're going BPA, and that means that we're going to see a run on linebackers.
Who's saying that?
Excuse me. The Panthers are definitely going to take a running back. So let's just calm down with those takes.
Yeah, we're taking a linebacker, a running back, and probably a kicker. And
Oh,
then we'll
my
cut
God.
the kicker to keep Graham Gano.
honestly, a running back this late, like, isn't the worst thing.
It's not. We need to find a way to not put Christian McCaffrey on the field for 99% of the snaps.
We can put him on for 98% of the snaps.
Exactly. We need it. 98 is acceptable, but 99 is just too much.
Yep. Unacceptable.
Watching everyone flip out about Will Greer yesterday was absolutely delicious. God, I loved watching it. The cream of the crop for ignorant tears, so tasty. Yeah, that was fun.
I'm
Where's
glad I
the-
wasn't here.
Where's the YouTube link?
YouTube.com.
No, you fuck. I mean, like, for the,
YouTube.com/watch?V=DF capital U 5 LGU capital V1 capital K capital E.
I'm not typing that in.
Well, that's the YouTube link. Don't
The
say
fact-
we didn't
the
give it to
fact
you.
that
Yeah, we
the
gave
fact
it to
that
you.
actually took the time to read that out to me actually makes me more mad.
I sent it,
I fucking
the-
hate you.
or maybe I just sent it to Brad. I did only.
Yeah,
send
he
it to
he
Brad.
did send it to me. Yeah, that's because I'm the only one who needed it.
Yeah,
It
he
was
was on
on
that for it.
CSR. That was where I used it. Brad's the only one who needs it. So me looking at what people are saying
No.
doesn't matter. I
Brad
get
is the
it.
one that asked for it, and it's the same.
No, I get it. I get it, John. My opinion doesn't matter when it comes to the opinions of our fans. It's fine. I get it. Whatever. Whatever. There. Now I can see what they're saying.
I have too many tabs
The
with YouTube
voice
open.
of the voiceless is here.
I agree with Sean Boyette about the the watching everybody flip out thing. I need to revisit the thread because it got late, and but some of the stuff, like some of the arguments as to why we didn't need Greer, aren't great. I don't know why people are so high on Kyle Allen.
I don't either.
Because
I really
Kyle
don't.
Allen is 1-0 in the NFL as a starter. That's why.
He didn't start though.
He
did
didn't
he
start.
He did start.
Yeah, he did
start.
start. That's
I was
right.
gonna
He did
say, yeah,
start.
he definitely started that
He
game.
started, but he didn't finish it
Yeah.
because he got hurt in the second half, and Garrett Gilbert came in.
Hey, that still counts as a start, and it still counts
Yeah,
as a
I
win.
mean, but the thing is New Orleans were playing the guys that weren't even barely on the roster. Like it's not. He essentially won the fourth preseason game, basically.
I want you guys to know, like, obviously Brad and John and Billy know that I'm like a master troll, and I couldn't even finish that sentence without laughing. Just so you know.
He's yeah. Like I get that he has tools and he's got talent, but at
So
some
he's
point,
tall and white. I got it.
but at some point, there's like, and obviously this is a bit of a like argument from authority type thing. But at some point, like he lost his job at Texas A&M, so he transferred to Houston. He lost his job at Houston, and we brought him into training camp. And when I was at training camp, Kyle Allen went with the receivers and threw passes for receiver drills, while Taylor Heineke, Garrett Gilbert, and Cam Newton did quarterback drills. Like that shows you what kind of prospect we're dealing with. And credit to him for sticking around and looking good with his opportunities, but I think it'd be irresponsible to assume based on what we've seen that he's good enough to be like the answer as a long-term backup quarterback.
No, and I agree. That's why I felt like they should have, if they wanted a backup QB, they should have addressed it in the veteran free agent market, like a guy like Robert Griffin III or Tyrod Taylor or Trevor Siemian. I mean, I think those are more viable options that were not going to cost you a lot of money either, and you give yourself a lot more protection. Because right now, if, like, let's say Cam does get hurt, like, do we really trust like a rookie to come in there and just pick up the scrapes? I don't.
I trust Will Grier more than I trust Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke.
Okay, but do you trust Will Grier more than you would trust like a Tyrod or Siemian or?
So I want to.
I trust Will Grier at. I trust Will Grier at $100 more than I trust Tyrod Taylor at $1,000, so to speak.
I think you're underplaying how much an NFL contract costs, Brad.
No, I'm not.
Will Grier's salary this year is $100.
Will Grier will make $100 in 2019.
$100 bill, Will Grier. Welcome to the NFL.
He won't even get a crisp $100 bill. He'll get 250s.
So I want to touch on something. Billy and I have argued about backup quarterback position in the past, like, I don't know, like 3 months ago, maybe, like back in January. So I made the point before that the Eagles are a good example of what happens when you've invested in your backup quarterback position. And there's more to it, Billy, before you interject.
No, go ahead. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, so, but I do believe that there is value in having a solid, quality backup quarterback, and the Panthers just potentially locked one in for the next 4 years. And who could end up being, a starting NFL quarterback somewhere. Not likely, but it could be a solid backup. But I was talking to Ashley today because, like, obviously I was out at the bar last night, didn't really get to process the
We get it, Brian. We get it. You have a life. You're not trapped at home.
I think Brian.
Hold on, I'm not done. God damn you, Brad. So I was processing it today, and Ashley texted me about it, and I was like, I was fucking furious about Will Grier because I think that the backup quarterback position should have been addressed, but I think they waited too fucking long to do it. Like, they gave up too much valuable draft capital to go up to get Greg Little, and then they were basically trapped into getting Will Grier with their last third-round pick. Where, like, I feel like, as Billy said, you could get a viable backup quarterback in free agency.
Here's the thing about free agency.
They have to want to come here, and it costs money.
Like, we already talked about how little cap space we have and stuff like that.
Would you imagine cut Torrey Smith and had a solid backup? Let's not.
Well, we're
not cutting Torrey Smith, Brian, though. That's the thing, and you have to buy a Torrey Smith jersey, Brian.
I know. I'm going to.
What, Billy?
Well, Brian, no, I never disagreed with you about the value of a backup, especially as it relates to how the other teams like the Eagles have done it. What I'm saying,
I never said you did, by the way.
No, but here's the thing: like Philly, like they got Nick Foles in free agency for like really cheap, and then they traded like
Cheaper than $100.
no, they picked up Sudfeld on waivers. So it's not like they're actually investing a lot of money into it. They just happened to get lucky with Foles and Sudfeld. And
I
that's
don't know about that because they did invest a lot of money in Foles after that season, and I don't remember what his
no,
contract.
they gave him a 2-year contract in 2017. It was like a 2-year, like $8 million contract.
That's a lot for a backup quarterback, Billy. I mean,
No,
Derek
is it?
It
Well,
is.
How? Like Ryan Fitzpatrick got like $10 million like this year.
But Ryan Fitzpatrick was potentially going to start for that team.
You have to think that
This
replaces
is also
like
2 years later.
No,
When the
I don't agree with that at all. Actually, I mean, I'm looking at some of the backup quarterback money. Like Chad Henne got $10 million 2 years ago to back up Mahomes. Like, I don't agree that you have to spend like this absurd amount of money on it. Like,
That's
you
not
have
an
to-
absurd amount of money, though. Like, for Derek, we paid Derek Anderson, what, $3 million over 2 years? And I
Okay,
thought
but
he was a viable backup.
yeah, he was, and they should have continued to keep him if they were so interested in all this, crazy stuff about backup
I mean, he's like
quarterback.
53 now, but yeah.
I'm just looking like what's his name? The guy Chase Daniel gets paid like $7 million a year.
okay,
We
but
can't
then
afford
who do we
that.
not? Yeah, who do
No,
we?
and
not sign?
that's what I'm saying though. Like I think that Brian is making the point that Foles was overpaid when he was with the Eagles, and I'm saying he wasn't.
I never said he was overpaid. I just said they paid good money for him.
I don't think $4 million is good money. I'm just looking at some of the backup money, and I think that's on the low end of what backups get paid. Veteran backups get paid.
Yeah, that's too much though.
Okay, well, if we could have that discussion, but I think that
I don't think it's too much.
Well, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's off the board.
Damn
So
it!
He went to the Saints, by the way.
here's my thing, Brian,
Of course.
or whoever thinks the free agent route. We have very little money to spend. Clearly, obviously the Torrey Smith thing, but that's not an option.
That wasn't the point I was making.
No, I
but
know,
okay.
but we don't have a lot of money to spend. So going for the free agent backup quarterback costs us something like Kyle Love, or costs us a Bruce Irvin signing or something like that. Will Greer is going to cost like $800,000 this year,
Or 100.
I agree.
or $100. So
But
it's a
Colin
much
Jones might
better
be starting
allocation
at
of
safety.
cap resources. And we're not going to the odds are
This
we
is-
weren't going to replace Colin Jones with safety here.
This is my thing. To go with John's point. Good teams do what we did.
do they?
Yes. The Patriots drafted Ryan Mallett, Jacoby Brissett,
Okay, but like
and
we're not the
Jimmy
Patriots.
Garoppolo, and they
Okay.
have Tom freaking Brady as their quarterback. Then they know that they're never going to start because they have Tom Brady. It's a smart thing to have a decent backup quarterback, and there's two things that can happen here. Number one, Cam gets hurt, or three things. Cam gets hurt, Greer comes in,
and they
and-
win 4 games.
and they win 4 games. Okay. The other thing that can happen, Cam gets hurt, Greer comes in, and they go 12-4. He could be good. The other thing is that he never sees the field. Like Cam could return to 2015 Cam. It's more than Greer is going to suck. I mean, we don't know. And he could light it up in 4 games, and then somebody else's quarterback gets hurt and they get desperate and they offer us a 2nd-round pick for him, like Jimmy G. I mean, we could have that situation play out. You just don't know. He could never play. He could be a 10-year Derek Anderson backup who never
Okay.
plays.
Can I say something? Can I say something real quickly?
It's just we don't know.
Brad, hold on. I don't disagree with what you're saying, but then for you and for Joe Person and Bill Voth and all these people who are making this comparison, the Panthers are not the Patriots. We don't have Bill Belichick. We don't have like this absorbent amount of talent on our roster. We just don't. We have like legitimate holes, and I don't think that we are in the business of just taking these lottery tickets and using them on backup quarterbacks, hoping they can potentially down the line replace Cam or replace him if he's injured. I don't think that's a very smart allocation. I would be okay with it if they didn't use that 77 pick to trade up, and they had they addressed like a safety or
Now, I think that's fair, and we talked about this yesterday. I don't like that they gave up the 77th pick to trade up, but I mean, apparently, and I don't know why, but apparently Ron Rivera doesn't think that we need a safety for whatever reason.
All right, well, he's going to find out the hard way when
he's going to find out the hard way that we do need one. I agree with you, and I've been on the we need to draft a safety train the whole time. And I honestly think we're going to take one in, let's see, 9 picks. I mean, I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to take the best one left, and it could be Amani Hooker. We could always sign Trey Boston for $10. So I just, and if Greer doesn't work out, like if he ends up being terrible, it's the number 100 pick in the draft. It's a comp pick. It's not like we took him at 77 or we took him in the second round or we traded up to get him or anything like that. It doesn't work. And I mean, I don't hate it, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I'm not saying that it, again, I don't hate where they took the player. I just hate that they took him before they're taking other areas on their roster because like you said, like earlier, like today, like day 3 of the draft is not where you go out and find starters. You just don't find starters here.
Yeah, you're very fortunate if you do. Like there are exceptions,
and that's my point. Like your top 100 is where you find the players who can come in and contribute. And yeah, like I get that they have this, high opinion on Rashawn Golden, but I don't know, man. It just, to me, it doesn't feel very comfortable. And I don't.
By the way, you say you're very adamant, like the top 100 is where you find your instant contributors. We're at 100, like it's not a fine line, and we're at 115 is next. Like the difference between those two picks is negligible.
Yeah, like I would get your point. I would agree with you 100%, Billy, if we didn't have the pick 115. Like if we had to go from 100 to what is our next one, 137 or something like that, 154, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. I would be fully 100% on board with you that it was a mistake to take a backup quarterback at 100 because we would have to go that deep without adding somebody else. But 15 picks later, we're going to be able to add probably a quality player. There are still potential starter quality guys that haven't been drafted yet. Like Amani Hooker is still on the board. Now he might not be in the next 8 picks, but he's still there. And if Hurney doesn't draft him, that's a completely different conversation. And I will be right next to you demanding he be fired.
The thing is,
I don't want him to get fired over not drafting a player in the 4th round. I just this is why I want. Oh, God.
Well, it's not necessarily not drafting a player in the 4th round. It's not addressing a position that literally every other person who has ever watched the Panthers play football in the last 2 years knows that they need to draft, except for the person making the decision.
I just want to interrupt real quick and let you guys know I just ordered my Torrey Smith jersey, by the way.
That's good.
Yep. So I'll
the other thing is we clearly had one quarterback that we wanted in Will Grier based on how much time we devoted to getting to know him and scouting him and stuff. There are several different safeties that I'm sure that we're okay with any one of them that happens to fall. And there's plenty of them there. So I think that's part of goes into the decision where it's like
there's 10 to choose from and they're playing the odds that one of them will still be there in 15 picks because I think it was more likely that one of Amani Hooker, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and any of the other ones would be there over Will Grier. So they went ahead and took Will Grier.
All this is going to be for naught when we draft.
It's all going to be for naught when we draft a linebacker.
Or a linebacker, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get the logic you guys are using here, but it's for them to, like, actually bank on having a safety that can compete with like Colin Jones or Rashawn Golden or Norris Searcy in the 4th round is just very irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean we do have Norris Searcy coming back, but he's if you breathe on him too hard, he'll get a concussion. So
and that's another thing too, because like now people are saying that Ross Cockrell is all of a sudden like entrenched as a starter at cornerback, and that also just makes me a little squeezy because like he's coming off a pretty serious injury and I don't know. He
Well,
He just
we
broke his
have
leg,
for
didn't he?
Sean Galden. He can play safety. So
Ross Cockrell is going to play corner. I mean, I think
but cornerback, Brad, we have some issues. We don't have like a nickel corner.
I think that Dante Jackson can play nickel corner.
if Cockrell is healthy, we have Bradbury, Cockrell, and Jackson. That's a pretty good trio.
Yeah, I would think that at worst they would just play Dante Jackson as the starter on the outside in 2 cornerback sets and use him as the nickel when they have nickel sets.
And we could use Galden as a big nickel. Like we have options.
And
I'm not saying they're good options. I'm just
Billy,
saying
you're
we
not
have
happy.
options.
I know, Billy, you're not happy with that, but that's a lot better than that's a lot better than it could be with other positions. Like Ross Cockrell is your prototypical outside zone corner.
No, I get. Hold on, I never have an issue with him. I'm just saying, like, it's a little squeezy for me as a fan to expect a guy coming off that injury to be entrenched as a starter.
How long have you been a fan of this team?
Fortunately, too long.
That's what we do. Like,
well, I mean, I'm trying to mitigate those risks by looking at other areas where they could address, and that's why again, like, just using your 3rd draft pick on a quarterback is not what I would have done.
Didn't Ross Cockrell break his leg? Isn't that what happened?
He broke his leg.
That's not really like an injury that people don't come back from.
No, it's not. But like he hasn't been a good player outside of 1 year with the Giants, which is why we signed him.
He was pretty good with the Steelers, if I recall.
No, he was not. He got cut after like a year after they drafted him.
I thought they traded him because they were going to a more man-heavy scheme. That was what I saw.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. That the reason that we signed him as well was that he would fit better in our zone.
What I saw was that he went to this.
Hold on, I agree with that.
What I saw was that the Steelers were going to a more man-heavy scheme, so they traded him to the Giants. He went to the Giants. The Giants then let him go. That was what I saw. Because I guess they were also going to a more man-heavy scheme since he was actually good with the Giants. I just remember it wasn't really like him being bad as much as just like the fit.
I like how they showed the notable 4th-round picks on ESPN right now, and there's 6 of them.
Like ever?
Ever. Obviously, there's more than that, but it was like, it's also a really funny list because they went with like big names for a long time ago, and then they really were grasping for straws recently. It's like John Stallworth, Steve Largent, Andre Reed.
Oh, they had to go that far back?
Yeah, Charles Haley.
Damn.
Dak Prescott, Tariq Cohen. It's like, oh, boy. Dak Prescott and Tariq Cohen really get the juices flowing. That is not a dog toy.
This Colts fan in his Colts suit is just making me so happy.
Are we done fighting about Will Grier? And
I'm waiting for Billy to come back with whatever he has to say.
No, I mean, there's nothing else to say. Like, I really don't like the move because they had other areas to address. But I mean, at this point, I'm being a dead horse. But we'll find out once the fall and the games begin. That once I'm watching week 1 and I'm seeing Sean McVay attack our middle of this field with whoever the heck
he's gonna do that anyway, though.
Well, I would feel a little more comfortable, but hey, I get it. Like, I understand. Like, not everyone's gonna agree with me here. I just feel like there's other areas that we need to address before we start getting into the hypotheticals of acting like a forward-thinking organization where we're drafting backup quarterbacks. I don't
what I'm looking forward to is in week 1 of the preseason when Will Grier beats the Bears like 28-3, and a lot of, let's just call them F-150 Twitter, comes out and says we need to make a change because we finally have a real quarterback. That's what I'm looking forward to, especially if Cam only plays 1 series and goes like 1 for 4 for 10 yards and like we don't score that drive. I'm looking forward to that day.
Don't worry, the concerned fan will come out at some point.
Yeah.
The concerned fan hasn't mailed me in a while, so.
Also, I think we're overvaluing the usefulness of picks at this point in the draft. Like
Jesus,
obviously,
Daniel, why would you shoot yourself? Relax, man. It's fine. It's just football.
What?
he said that in the chat.
I
Oh.
will pick up a gun and shoot myself when/if that happens, is what he said.
I think referring to Golden being a free safety.
Okay. Yeah, don't do that. That's bad.
Not that serious. So
Or
Pick
if
up
you're going to
your-
do
pick
it,
up
if
your
you're going to
television
do
remote
it,
and
use
change
your
the channel.
BB gun.
that's probably not a good idea either.
Use your BB gun and shoot yourself in the foot or something.
Oh my God, Sean Boyette, the preseason overreactions about Will Greer is going to be great, and if he does that, we have the perfect nickname for him, Will Grief.
Yes. Oh, referring to the idiot saying we should bench Cam for Greer. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that, Daniel, because it's going to happen. Even if Greer if he goes like 3 for 4 for 12 yards.
Instant
People
starter.
The people who are going to demand that we start Will Greer are already going to demand that we start Will Greer. Oh, we got a punter drafted.
Oh,
Mitch
no!
Wishnowski?
Mitch Wishnowski. That is the most
What a
punter
name.
name ever.
Wishnowski.
A 4th round punter.
Thanks for spoiling the pick, assholes.
It's
It
not,
was
it's
just
on
announced on TV.
Yeah, I know, I'm a little behind. I have to stream it, so
Well, that's not my fault.
it's fine.
Not my fault you're a goddamn millennial.
I can't get over that name for a punter.
Mitch
Mitch-
Wishnowski.
That's
That
the
is-
greatest name ever.
That is the greatest punter name ever.
Damn, look at that punt. Look at it.
They're not showing punts on ESPN for some reason. Don't know why.
The hang time on this dude's punts are actually like crazy.
Speaking of punts, wasn't Pat McAfee was electric last night?
Look at him run!
Yes, Pat McAfee should win an Oscar or an Emmy for that performance. That was
I like
amazing.
the part where it was like I retired with two greats, Robert Mathis and I can't remember the other guy. It's like the next year, Robert Mathis and that other guy announced the picks, and then also an orangutan announced the picks for the Colts. I lost my job to an orangutan
Yeah.
because I'm not upset because the orangutan was not very good at his job.
Yo,
His,
the Falcons
his
traded up.
open was the greatest thing ever, too. He said, I'm Pat McAfee, punter for the Indianapolis Colts. When we played the Tennessee Titans, we didn't punt very often, so you have no idea who I am.
I know.
Like, that is amazing.
That's so good. I bet my brother was so mad. He hasn't said anything to me about that.
No, Pat McAfee's great.
He is funny.
He's very
My brother's
funny.
a Titan. By the way, for people listening, my brother is a Titans fan. So,
How does that happen?
well, we were both born in Tennessee, so I became a
Okay.
Panthers fan because of my grandpa.
Oh.
If you want to get into the heartfelt, tear-filled story about that, we can do that. So,
Sure.
sure.
It's the 4th round.
Well, my grandpa. I watched a Panthers game with my grandpa, and I wasn't really into football all that much when I was younger, and I liked the Panthers colors, and I was like, I kind of like this team. I think I'm going to watch them. And he was like, "Are you going to stay a fan for me?" And I was like, "Yes." And he put a Panthers hat on my head, and
Aw.
I've stayed a fan ever since. He was also a Jets fan, but I'm not going to spoil the story with that.
I want to read a comment from Panthers FTW, your favorite person, Brad.
Oh, jeez.
But no, it's a very, very good point. I feel like many here are guilty of the same crime Hurney has always been involved in, namely falling so in love with a certain prospect or prospects that a lot of objectivity goes straight out the window. The hand-wringer of not getting this specific offensive tackle or that specific free safety is almost as bad as Hurney trading up because so many resources were spent scouting one particular player.
I mean, I don't really.
But they drafted Brian Burns, so
But it's the general sentiment is where it's like people get so caught up in like a particular player or two that they want that they can't see that there are other viable options that don't.
Yeah,
involve
people
that
can't see the
particular
forest
player.
for the trees.
Yeah, like there's more than one way to skin this cat. Like they can have a different idea from you and also be right. Like I've said, I'm cool with the Will Greer pick. If I'm Marty Hurney, I probably don't pick Will Greer there, but it's one of many possibilities at that spot that I think is a respectable direction to go in.
as
Might
John
not
would
be the
say,
best, but it's not like drafting a linebacker or something.
as John would say, there's more than one way to fix this loose doorknob.
Yeah, I do say that all the time.
Mhm.
My favorite thing. to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I really don't like is when they go to commercial and they take away the little ticker on the bottom. So I don't know where we are.
Well, maybe you should watch the NFL Network then.
Yeah,
don't
they
have
keep
it.
it on. They keep it on the bottom on NFL Network.
I realized last
Yep.
night I don't have NFL Network
You don't?
No.
Why not?
because it costs money.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, obviously. So Sean Boyette brought up a good point. We can't really make a solid opinion on them until they go on into their careers.
No.
But we have to make an opinion now because
Final
that's how the
opinion.
internet works, Sean.
And don't you dare change your opinion from your initial thought because then you're a flip-flopper.
You're a fucking flip-flopper like Edgar.
Hey, he could be listening to this right now.
Good. I hope he is. Edgar the Flip.
Flippity flop. That's a new one, by the way. Like, cause instead of just like a picture of a flip flop, I don't know if you guys watch American Dad.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, never mind. There's a.
I mean, I do watch it, not regularly, but
it's a good background noise show.
yeah.
There's an episode where Klaus tries to get back into his human body. The fish tries to get back into his human body because he wants to execute the flippity flop, which is like a long jump, a ski long jump technique.
God damn it! I fucking hate Family Guy and American Dad writers because they manage to make like relatively entertaining episodes, but with like the stupidest premises.
I know. Well, you have to think about it, like to stay on the air as long as they do, like you have to run out of ideas because like those shows always start with like semi-realistic scenarios or like somewhat realistic interactions, and it gets into like this main character has actually had a stamp collection addiction this entire time that we've just never showed you before because we don't know what else to write about.
A stamp collection addiction.
Yeah.
Well, the way those shows always go is the main character just gets stupider and stupider and stupider.
Mm-hmm.
So they create what's called Homer buffers, like Homer Simpson in the Simpsons, obviously.
Never heard of them.
Where they create, then they make other characters more dumb to like get that off of the main character. So, and that's how they keep it going. Every character just gets dumber and dumber and dumber until they're all like laying in a pool of their own spit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when my favorite TV shows get to that point where everybody just lays in a pool of their own spit the whole time.
Yep.
Like,
It was a shame to see that happen with Breaking Bad.
It's a little waste of 42 minutes. That's when they really jumped the shark.
Yep. What a waste of Jesse Pinkman. What a waste.
Mitch Wishnowsky.
I love that name, and I kind of wish we would have drafted him now. That is an epic name.
Well, honestly, look, I mean, I only saw the highlights they showed on NFL Network, but his hang time is fucking nuts on his punts.
Oh, there's a center named Michael Jordan in this draft.
There is?
We need to draft him.
We need to draft him. Just so I can do the ceiling is the roof.
I guess Carolina's up in about 3 picks. So that'll be cool.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can't wait for the draft of the next linebacker.
We're almost to the part where I can see their name on the screen, which is Bryce Love.
Bryce Love going to Washington. That's a good pick.
It is.
I kind of wish we could have got him.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
would
know
have
who
been
that
cool.
is.
He was
took
McCaffrey's running mate in Stanford.
and he averaged like 9 yards a carry 1 year.
Yeah. I think that's probably who they wanted if he was still there in like the 5th round. I think they would have drafted him. But I don't think they wanted to they wouldn't have got him at 115 regardless. But if he would have somehow still been there at 150, whatever, I think they would have taken him then.
Bryce Love in 2017 had 263 carries for 2,118 yards.
Fuck.
And I think they kind of overdrafted him a bit. I don't think he was going to go until the next round.
Well, allegedly he had an ACL injury too.
Yeah. So, I mean, but hey, if he's who you want, get him.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
8.1
after the
yards per
3rd
carry, by
round,
the
you
way.
might as well.
Yeah. At this point, you're just taking priority undrafted free agents that can't choose to sign with you. or not sign with you. That's really all the 4th through 7th rounds are.
I feel like you're being a little facetious about the 4th round. Maybe the 5th round, though.
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of. I'm kind of trolling about the 4th round. The 5th, 6th, and 7th rounds, though, absolutely.
At this point, like, everybody's kind of a replacement level player, theoretically. Like, they're all kind of in the same bucket of, like, if you gave them, like, overall ratings, they're all, like, between, like, a 65 and a 70. Like, it's pretty negligible difference.
Yeah,
it's
but
about
the 4th
picking
rounders
the one
are all the better ones.
Yeah, and it's just about picking, like, the guys who you think maybe, like, you like their intangibles or they have traits that you look for.
Hey, Daniel Camp makes a good point, though. The Panthers got Ian Thomas last year in the 4th round.
That is true.
He was the first pick of the 4th round, but...
After they traded down, too.
Yeah, I know you were a huge fan of that, Billy. I remember seeing you all over on Twitter about drafting Ian Thomas there, so that was a great call by you.
We're still probably going to trade this pick because I'm supposed to cover it.
Yeah,
I hope they do.
It's been like 4 years in a row.
Well, they drafted Greg Hardy in the 6th round because he was a shit person. Sean.
I mean, I would take Greg Hardy 2.0 in this draft if there was one available in the 6th.
Not if he's the same person.
Well, yeah. Well, the same person coming out of college, yes. I don't
yeah.
anyone expect them to. Yeah.
If he's an eccentric character, that's a very good defensive end. Sure. If he's going to beat women, then I'll pass.
Unless you're the Chiefs, then it's okay.
The Chiefs are like the new Bengals.
Oh no, we're having a run on running backs. Carolina's gonna pick one.
Oh my God, I hope they don't.
Jalen Moore, Appalachian State.
Oh my God, that would be like the 2 rounds too high, and then of course something they would do.
No, they won't do that.
You just sent Billy into a frenzy.
I wish the draft was always this fast, where they don't even like have time to show the timer. It's just like Vikings pick is in, Panthers pick is in, Jets pick is in.
Well, the Panthers are on the clock, so
Yeah, well, so I'm saying like they just move right along. And I know by the time we get to the 6th and 7th round, the draft's going to end, and it's going to be another hour before they finish announcing all the picks on TV. But
yeah, that's the worst part.
Bryce up towards ACL in December. I didn't realize it was that late.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I think that's why he was projected to go in the 5th or 6th round.
Which is kind of weird to me that injuries like that have such a big effect on players' draft stock, where it's like, oh, he broke his leg. He was a 1st-round pick, then he broke his leg. Now he's like a 4th rounder. It's like those guys, people come back from those injuries like regularly now. Like a torn ACL, especially for someone in their early 20s, is hardly a death knell if they're a hard worker. And
yeah. The big injury nowadays is the Achilles.
Yeah, if they like tear their Achilles or do something major, that's one thing. Like the what's the guy? Is it Jalen Smith? Is that the linebacker from Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
like where
Jalen
he had
Smith.
like nerve damage and stuff. Like I understand that hurting your draft stock, but where it's like torn ACL. Like if there's a guy that's a 1st-round talent and he's available in the 3rd round because he's on a torn ACL, I'm jumping on that every single day.
Gary Pinckney mentioned in the thread, Captain Munnerlyn was a 7th round pick. I want to clarify this because I'm a South Carolina fan, unfortunately. Captain Munnerlyn was only a 7th round pick because he's like 3 foot tall. If he were, instead of 5'9", if he were 5'10" and a half or 6 foot tall, he would have been like a 3rd or 4th round pick. That's the only reason he dropped as far as he did. And he probably should never have lasted 10 years in the NFL. But yeah, it's a tremendous value that we got there. We shouldn't have brought him back after he went to Minnesota, but those first 5 or 6 years, he was great. And he still has the franchise record for most pick sixes.
The other thing I want to say about that, no one has ever denied that we could get a good player here. It's managing it's managing expectations, because you shouldn't, like, above average players taken at this point in the draft or later are exceptions, and you shouldn't expect another exception. You know, the most likely scenario is we get a rotational player that maybe turns into a decent starter.
Well,
we're probably not going to get Eddie Jackson.
They took Christian Miller, edge rusher.
Oh, you know that for a fact?
Yes.
I need to see that because
I'm okay with that.
Where is that?
I would have traded.
Wasn't Christian
Jordan
Miller?
Rodriguez just confirmed it, so
Christian
Jordan
Miller?
Rodriguez just confirmed it, so I will put that embed in your post, John,
Okay.
so you
So
can go in there and do it.
I feel like Christian Miller was mocked in like. I feel like I saw him in like anywhere from like the first to third rounds in some mocks. I don't know why.
Can't
My
type.
cats
Is he
are
good?
fighting. He's not bad, especially in the at 115 overall.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Like
I'm
need-
okay with it too. I don't hate it.
they need as much, you know.
We need defensive line depth.
Yeah,
He's not a
exactly.
well, he's not a defensive lineman. Let's just be clear. He's an edge, like a linebacker edge rusher.
Yeah, but I mean, we need that too.
But I think we need more defensive linemen right now because right now they have like enough. I think they have enough edge rushers. Like they don't need to be like.
What, you have a problem with Vernon Butler?
I don't have a problem with him. Ron Rivera does. I mean, Ron Rivera has a problem with him.
They got Kyle Love though. It's fine.
That is true. We brought Kyle Love back.
And what is it, Alan Bailey? They could be signing him.
All right. That's all you need was the first sentence for right now, right, Brad?
Yeah, go ahead and publish it. Well, let me finish the headlines and I'll publish it, and then you can go back in and write the actual article.
Okay.
Oh, he played for Alabama. He's gonna be great.
Tell me when to go. Little people get a little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's what we do here.
It's really scary back behind the curtain. Don't go
That's-
back there ever.
That's why you tune into the live show.
I'm telling you, it's traumatizing. Don't do it. 12 quarterback hurries.
That's a lot of hurries.
That's a lot of hurries.
Okay, John, I published the story. Now you can go back in, edit it, and do your write-up and republish it. Make sure you update the timestamp.
Time to plagiarize the shit
Time
out
to
of somebody.
plagiarize the shit out of somebody. Because, yeah.
Pull a D, if you will.
Remember live mics.
So I really like them going after more edge rushers because, like, I understand Billy's point that they need more defensive linemen, but the pass rush sucked last year. Let's be real here. So, like, taking these picks and just throwing them at a dartboard for pass rushers, I'm all right with it. I think that it makes sense.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are you saying the edge rush pass rush sucked or the interior? Because I think the interior was just as
It
bad.
all did. The entire pass rush as a
But-
whole
So
unit. sucked.
right now we have a 31-year-old nose tackle who is probably going to be on his last year. We have a 30-year-old defensive tackle who's clearly aging, and they just re-signed a 35-year-old nose tackle for 1 year.
K1 Short played fine last year, dude.
No, hold on. Give me 1 sec? And then
Sorry.
they had a, like, by all indications, a first-round bust.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean-
am I wrong in that? I think K1 Short was fine. I also think that he's 30 years old and he's clearly on the decline.
No, I don't. I agree with you. I think you're right. I just also I believe that we should build it from the outside in. Like I think we're okay on interior line in 2019. We are not okay at edge in 2019. And I think that what we'll see is that next year Kyle Love will be rotated out completely. We'll draft a defensive tackle, and then, you know, a couple of years down the road, K1 Short will end up being what Kyle Love is now, and we'll just, you know, we'll do that. But we had to replace Julius Peppers. Like we absolutely had to.
No, I don't suggest that they. I don't mind.
Like the only defensive tackle I think we should have drafted before now was Ed Oliver and Quinnen Williams. Like if we would have, or Christian Wilkins or Dexter Lawrence in the first 3 rounds. Like if we would have gotten one of those guys, it would be different.
Oh, I agree. I just.
I think it'll take a little bit of pressure off the interior when you have solid
No,
outside rushers. And I'm not saying Carolina did that. I'm not saying Carolina added like high-end outside rushers multiple times. I'm just
Well, there
saying
goes
that.
Amani Hooker for anyone who wanted that.
Fuck!
That ship kind of sailed. I thought when we didn't pick him right now.
Okay, I don't really understand this. Like, hold on. like, yeah, your logic makes sense, Brian. But the point here is that the interior defensive line they collapse the pocket a lot quicker than an edge rusher would from the edge.
I think that they'll be better when Ron Rivera is coaching them, or calling the plays, I should say. And I know that sounds like, blasphemy, but they did look better. The defense all around played better when Ron Rivera was calling the plays. Obviously, Dontari Poe was disappointing. K'Wan Short still played up to what I would call the standard for him. Vernon Butler is still an unknown, but
this is even better
he's
considering
unknown.
that the Titans picked Amani Hooker right after we picked Christian Miller. So fans are going to melt down.
I just think the issue will be. I feel like it'll be easier to deal with on the interior when you have more threats on the outside that might require double teams or chip blocks or running backs to go block them. So I might be wrong. I might be
Okay,
wrong.
I'm gonna try to make Panthers fans happy. Because I'm too negative, so I'm gonna try to be positive right now. Pro Football Focus, and disclaimer.
I think I shared the tweet you're about to read.
Okay, they're not perfect. I'm not just using them because it fits my opinion, but new Panthers edge Christian Miller led all SEC edge defenders in the class by averaging a pressure on 37% of his pass rushes in the game's waning moments last season. He can get after the quarterback.
Oh, that's a different one than I shared.
His overall grade was 80.3, ranked 30th, 39 total pressures, 25 total stops, 22.7 pass rush win percentage. So he's not terrible. And getting him at 115th overall is a pretty decent value. And let's just be real here. Our pass rush sucked last season. It's something that we've been saying for months now. We've got to get a pass rush. We've got to get a pass rush. We've got to get a pass rush. And by God, they actually went out and did it. So we can't really complain because we didn't draft a safety in the 4th round when we've been bitching and whining for months that our pass rush sucked. Well, they did that. So
But
be happy.
I don't think anyone was upset they drafted the player. I think I just think the confusion lies with how they've managed their roster and where the resources have gone. Like, let's say they, instead of giving Bruce Irvin that deal, they gave it to like an interior defensive lineman. I would feel a lot more comfortable with it at this stage. Like, they still have Mario Addison. They still have Marquise Haynes. Like, is he like now off the roster because they took this guy? Like, everyone was hyping him up to be like the next Mario Addison. I mean, F.A. Obata, like, are they going to like cut him now? Like,
I think they're going to cut Effie Obata on the bye week after we get back from London.
well, I mean,
That's my conspiracy theory this season, that we're only keeping him because we're going to London.
all right. Well, I still think like he showed like some flashes last.
Oh, I agree 100% that he's shown some flashes. I think he has potential.
That's what you want out of your 3rd or 4th edge rusher. Now it's a little just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to think it logically on how they've like managed their roster. Like,
I think we're finally building a team that Ron Rivera truly wants. Like, we're getting what he had in San Diego.
but in San Diego, he had like Eric Weddle and like Antoine Cason and a lot of like really good secondary players.
Well, we have that too. We have Colin Jones and Rashawn Golden and Denoris Searcy and Ross Cockrell. I mean, those are one-for-one comparisons, right?
Christian
I
Miller
guess
is very
you're not gonna take the bait.
Christian Miller is very similar to Brian Burns as like a.
And this goes back to my original point. And I know, like, I keep harping on it, and I keep making this point. Like, this is why they need more picks, because, like, let's say they had like another 4th rounder, and they took like any safety. I don't care if it's Hooker or Thompson or whatever, like, or just an interior defensive lineman. Like, I'd feel a lot better about, you know, their depth. I'm not saying either like Christian Miller or anyone they select here is going to come in and contribute, but I think the depth gives you more flexibility. And now you're kind of pigeonholing yourself to like these guys who are like on the AAF or cut last year, and I don't know. to me it seems like they could manage their entire team building a little better, and that's the value of picks to me, especially in the first 4 rounds. But
Here's the
I
stat
get,
that I shared.
but I get why other people would disagree. So
For players in his class, Christian Miller was second in the SEC in fewest snaps per pressure, behind Josh Allen, who went 7th overall.
7th overall, yeah.
And then next is Christian Miller, and then Montez Sweat, and then Jachai Polite, and then DeAndre Walker from Georgia. So that's good. He's very similar. He profiles very similarly to Burns, in terms of his stature and his athletic traits.
I mean, I think Ron wants guys who can just get after the quarterback, and I'm okay with that. Now, if I were Hurney, I would have drafted Amani Hooker. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't draft a safety. I'm not saying safety's not a need. I'm not saying that. I would have drafted Amani Hooker instead of Christian Miller, but I get why they drafted Christian Miller instead of Amani Hooker. Like, I understand their thought process.
That's the way I am too. Like, I would have picked a safety there for sure, but I'm cool with the pick. I see the merits in going with taking another swing on a pass rusher, because we need as many
fighting.
my animals were fighting earlier. Now they're both sound asleep, so which is great right now. But yeah, I understand the merits of the decision making process. Like, I understand what we're doing, and another little signal just to show that we're gonna try to be. We have plans for being creative with the way we go after the quarterback next year. Like, I don't think the Burns pick alone would say, because we could very easily be classic Ron Rivera and try to pigeonhole him into a traditional 4-3 defensive end. But the fact that we've signed Bruce Irvin, drafted Brian Burns, and now drafted Christian Miller, all 3 of them are not what you'd call prototype 4-3 defensive ends.
Yeah.
So that gives that makes me more confident that we're serious about the whole, 3-4 or Leo looks that Jacksonville does and Denver does with Von Miller and type stuff like that.
Yeah, what I'm hoping we do now is we'll probably draft a safety in the 5th round.
I doubt it. I think they're taking a linebacker back up.
No, but it'll be somebody that nobody wants.
Well, I just don't think they're taking a safety. Period.
It'll be let's just look at
I'm willing to bet
Dakota Dixon from Wisconsin. He's Walter Football ranked him number 27 out of this class. We'll do something like that. And it'll make people even more mad.
One of those people that NFL.com or
they don't even have a picture of him.
Yeah, they don't have a grade for him.
We got to use a Panthers helmet as the picture for our article about him.
Yeah.
I love those picks. My favorite pick of all time, in case you're wondering, was when we picked Edmund Kugbila in the 4th round that year, because we literally were all like, who the hell is that guy? And we had no idea who he was.
And then you had to use a picture of the helmet for the picture.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm thinking that
we ended up using a picture of Trey Turner.
I have an opinion. If the Panthers go 3-13, I guarantee you Ron Rivera gets an extension.
Okay.
Wow, Billy.
That is an opinion.
Where did that opinion come from?
Just it's stuck in my head. I'm ingrained to the fact that Brad will understand. It's Ron Rivera is a new Arsene Wenger, where he'll never ever get fired.
Yeah.
I would believe that if he didn't almost get fired.
He's here for life.
Off season.
If he didn't get fired after a 8-game losing streak last year, I don't know.
I do agree with that part, Billy. If we didn't fire him after losing our 7 of our last 8 games, I don't think we're going to for a while. And I know he probably used the whole Cam shoulder as his crutch, but I would have fired him anyway. I said we should have fired him after we lost to Washington, and everybody thought I was crazy. And then 6 weeks later, y'all are all like, fire Ron. And, yeah, I just kicked back and sipped my tea.
I don't think he'll survive having another losing season. I don't think Dave Tepper wants to keep around a front office that gives him back-to-back losing seasons to kick off his ownership. He doesn't seem like the type of person to accept that. Just like
What's up, guys? Eric here.
Hey, Eric, what's
I
up?
was gonna say, who is this voice?
What's going on, everybody?
You're not welcome here. What are you doing here?
You know, it felt like the show could use a little classing up, so here I am.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Oh, that will even another.
That'll
boost
make
to
it
the
even
class
better.
up.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I feel like a valued member of the team.
Let's see. Comment in the YouTube chat. The way they are drafting, it looks like they're going to do more than just sprinkle in the 3-4. I agree with that. I think we're going to see more of it than they're leading on.
I agree with Nerd too, though. I think people are too caught up in like 4-3 versus 3-4. Like, I don't think we'll use either one of those very often.
Yeah, we're going to put however many 11 guys out there and go.
Like lots of 3-3-5s or like 4-2-5s where one of the 4 down linemen is a third line, like a 4-3, but one of the 4 is like a stand-up rush linebacker or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's why we drafted Christian Miller.
Yeah.
Gary Pinkney asked about how to pronounce the Patriots pick, and I honestly missed who they picked, so I'm going to go try and find that real quick.
Thanks for interrupting us to tell us that you were going to go do something and not talk.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck
appreciate it.
up. Hold on. Hjalte Froholt? What is this? I'm going to type it into the chat.
It's Denmark, man. He's from Denmark.
Ooh. Of course he's an offensive lineman.
I
Is he
mean,
a
I'm going to type
guard?
the name into the chat so you guys can see what it actually looks like.
Y'all
But-
Which chat? We have 2 chats.
Into the fucking YouTube chat, you son of a bitch.
We also have a Hangout chat. We
We do have
our
a Hangout
group
chat and our
That's
group
where
chat
I
on
mean.
Slack and an open thread. So you do need to specify where you're going to put it.
Specify. Got it.
Specify.
I specified that it's going to be in the YouTube
That name
Google Hangout
is
chat.
pronounced Hjalte Froholt.
I'm just going to call
Actually, I
him Game
think
of
you're
Thrones.
probably right, Brad.
I know I'm right.
No, he's probably right, but I'm still just going to call him Game of Thrones.
Just call him Mountain
Yeah, he's just Game of Thrones guard.
or Hodor. Those are the only 2 Game of Thrones
Yelda
references I know.
Don't you
It's
ever
Yelda.
use Hodor's name. You stop that.
You hear me?
What?
It's Yelda.
Yelda? What?
Yeah, that's what Trey Wingo just said.
The,
All right, Zelda.
the
Zelda,
Legend of
that's his name.
Yelda. Yep, the Legend of Yelda.
Yelda Froholt.
Yelda Froholt.
Makes
Yelda
sense.
Froholt.
He can get me an ice cream. Who cares?
That's such a
He's a New England Patriot. Who gives a damn?
That feels like a Patriots pick.
It does.
It's like he's got Viking strength.
That has
Take it for
Patriots
offensive
pick
line.
that gets cut in the offseason all over it, to be honest. Because that's what they do that all the time with 4th and 5th round picks.
Yeah, the Patriots don't care. They do not worry about like optics of cutting draft picks or doing whatever. They just do what they think is the best move for the football
Yeah.
team. It's a weird strategy, but it seems to work.
I mean, sometimes they even
Weird
take other
flex.
people's mid and late round picks and cut them. We wouldn't know what that's like.
And then sometimes they trade us. Oh, like when we cut. Remember that time when we cut future starting running back Tyler Gaffney, and then now
Oh,
we
yeah.
hate the Patriots even more for
Oh
cutting
yeah,
him.
yeah. 1,000-yard rusher Tyler Gaffney.
Next,
And
the
then-
next Peyton Hillis.
Yeah,
And then I don't think he ever
Winovich
played.
and Froholt, the Valhalla squad, according
Valhalla. That's what we should call him.
Yep.
Valhalla.
Valhalla.
to You guys are so white. I hate it.
I mean, yeah,
You're not wrong.
you're not wrong.
You're not incorrect.
Okay, so it pretty much just seals the deal that it's 1 o'clock on a Saturday and we're watching the late rounds of the NFL draft. We're probably pretty white. We don't have
Are
anything
you
better to
saying
do.
black people can't watch the late rounds of the draft?
I'm not insinuating anything.
That's
I'm
kinda
saying
what
that not
it sounds
only are
like.
we doing it, we're all on our computers talking about doing it.
Holy shit! Tyler Gaffney's transaction list is so funny.
Yeah. I looked at it a while ago. I forget what I
See,
saw, but I just laughed
Panthers
myself.
signed Tyler Gaffney. Panthers waived Tyler Gaffney. Patriots acquired IR, waived, cut, re-signed, waived, Had they waived him twice in a row? Cut, added to practice squad, activated from practice squad, waived, cut, added to practice squad, signed, waived, cut, signed, waived, placed on IR, retired.
He sounds like Kenyon Barner. Panthers, Eagles, Chargers, Eagles, Panthers, Patriots, Panthers, Falcons, Panthers. I mean, it's crazy how some guys are like that.
Barner, except he played.
Yeah, basically.
Gaffney didn't play, so yeah, Barner played.
Yeah.
Gaffney's never appeared in a game.
Oh, but we missed out on having him.
But he was from Stanford, man.
It's fucking amazing that Kenyon Barner lasted as long as he did in the league with all his fucking fumble issues.
He plays baseball now.
It's not even past tense, though. He's still in the league. I mean,
the Falcons signed him to a one-year deal.
Yeah, he's still out there.
Kenyon Barner. He's probably just that guy where teams sign him to like get secrets from other teams at this point.
Probably. So after the Falcons are done getting our secrets, he'll be cut, and then the Saints.
I mean,
will
we're
sign
not
him
all
to
that
Falcons
secretive.
secret.
Our game plan is to run a 4-3 and to throw the ball to Christian McCaffrey. So it's not like we're hiding anything.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I think that whole like signing players to know the playbook thing is overrated. Not that there's not any value to it, but like we're not gonna like. There's nothing that the Panthers do, for example, that teams don't already know.
Right.
Like they already know all our plays. Like, you might get some terminology or something, but like, there's nothing a player can tell you that you can't already see from watching our games. Like, hey, they line up this formation. This is what they like to do. Like, you can just figure that out by looking at how we play.
Yeah, really, the real talk, the real only value you can get is the audibles and like middle of the game calls, and even then, those change, weekly. So
yeah, there's.
Plus, you could have Peyton Manning where he's like Dakota Fat Man or something like that, or Trombone Lady Mashed Potatoes. Yeah, and all those are just bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only time it actually has merit where somebody says, oh, they signed somebody to learn the playbook is when there's a signing from a team. The guy was last on a team that they're about to play in a couple weeks. I think that's the only one where it's really like, oh, yeah, they clearly signed this guy to get some intel.
Ryan Dallaire.
Who is the guy? Who is the Ben Boulware?
Ryan Dallaire.
Ben Boulware?
Yeah.
They actually made it to where you can't just sign them. Like, they get cut from the Panthers, and then next week we play the Patriots, and Bill Belichick signs him for a week and then cuts him. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
you have to keep him for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, there's some sort of a salary cap penalty now. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's the Bill Belichick rule, because of course Bill Belichick would do that. Like, he would sign 16 practice squad guys and then cut them the next week. And they made it where you had to keep them on your roster for a couple of weeks.
So Dan Camp asked, will the Panthers sign Trey Boston? Or does Rivera hate the safety position too much? So
Ron Rivera hates the safety position. Yes, no, we will not sign Trey Boston.
Hold on, I have a measured take about this.
Okay.
No replay here.
Fuck you, John. After June 1st, if he's still available, I think they will. Because they're going to have $7 million cap coming.
It's possible, but here's my thing about Trey Boston. We let him walk for a reason. And if we let somebody walk in Carolina that has a couple years starting experience under Ron Rivera, that means Ron Rivera never really liked him to begin with.
Bingo.
I just don't see Ron Rivera like literally swallowing his pride to bring somebody back that he already cut.
Yeah, and even if Trey Boston is good, because I'm gonna go ahead and just be real with y'all, Trey Boston ain't good. He's not. He's bad.
No,
okay,
he's better than what we have, but
he's better than what we have. He's better than Colin Jones. I will not argue that because it's true, but he's not very good. But here's the thing: even if he was Eric Weddle, Ron Rivera will not admit he was wrong to cut him in the first place. So
I disagree.
It's not going to happen.
I 100% disagree on that because his contract ran out and he wanted high-end safety money. Why would Carolina pay him that if they don't feel like he's worth that?
Well, David Gettleman wouldn't. So
and I don't think Marty Herney would have either, to be honest. Like Trey Boston, the whole reason why he's been on the market for so long for the last 2 off seasons because he wants starting safety money.
Marty Herney gave Charles Johnson $800 million So Marty Herney would absolutely overpay.
You're being facetious.
He gave him $75 million for real,
You're
and
being
he was
very
not worth
facetious.
that.
You're being
Charles
very
Johnson was
facetious.
not worth that contract.
Charles Johnson was also a fucking great starting defensive end.
But he
Trey
wasn't
Boston
an elite defensive end that was worth that kind of money. What I'm saying is Marty Herney will not shy away from paying money to players. We paid both D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart starting running back money at the same time and screwed up our salary cap for a decade. So if Trey Boston were good, Marty Herney would sign him to top safety money because that's what he does.
I'm not saying that Trey Boston is what I'd call good. I would say he's probably a step below that. But I think the Carolina could sign him because after June 1st, when they have the cap room to sign him for $1 to $2 million for the year, 1-year contract. I'm just saying that it's clear that Trey Boston was looking for a contract that was, starting caliber safety money, and he's not getting that anywhere.
With what we've done to upgrade the pass rush so far in this draft, there's a good chance that all we need at safety is decent. I mean, I don't think we need a great safety. I think if our pass rush gets home, like it has in the past where we had Mike Mitchell, not a great safety. Lots of these guys, Trey Boston, again, not a great safety, but it was fine because we were getting to the quarterback. I mean, I think that's going to mask plenty of issues.
And that's my point, is that I think Trey Boston would answer that.
Yeah, so but at the same time, and I think this will also play a role, if we do end up taking, let's say we take a young safety very late in the draft, I would almost rather risk Eric Berry's health and sign Eric Berry than bring in Trey Boston, just because I feel like, if nothing else, Eric Berry knows how to play great safety, and he can bring a young guy up on how to play great safety.
But Trey Boston knows the scheme.
Yeah, he knows the scheme, maybe. I mean, he knows the scheme from, 3 years ago?
It's still not going to be all that different. The front seven might be different, but the secondary scheme is not going to be all that different. Let's be real here. It's still a Ron Rivera defense.
Yeah, it is. And, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to have to learn some new things next year, because if we do go to more multiple fronts, then there's going to be a learning curve for some people. But I don't know. There's something in the back of my head that says trust Eric Berry, sign Eric Berry. I know he's been injured a lot, and some of that wasn't his fault, but I don't know. I feel like it's just a sinking feeling. Eric Berry can be an amazing safety, and I just have this weird feeling that he'll be healthy this year. That's all.
Eric Berry is one of my favorite players in the league, even though he went to Tennessee. And I really hope that we do sign him. I'm with you 100%. I like Eric Berry. He's one of those that dude type guys. Yeah. And I think if we could get him for a cheap enough 1-year prove-it deal, I think it would be smart business.
Yep.
I mean,
and he fits the Ron Rivera mold, too.
He does, absolutely.
The whole mold of the caliber of person that Ron Rivera looks for, that's Eric Berry 100%.
I would agree. I wanted Eric Berry at first, but man, he's got a lot of injuries going on. But so I'm going to preface this by saying that if they sign Eric Berry, I will not be mad. But looking at Trey Boston, I don't think that it would be all that different for him as a safety if they do go that direction, because 3-4-4-3 alignments as far as like the front seven goes are really not all that different as far as like what the secondary does. The secondary still does its thing. It's just as far as like what linebacker or what edge rusher ends up being assigned in coverage. It's not all that different for them. Like, it's not like Trey Boston's going to come in and be like, oh no, they're doing a multi-front defense. What am I going to do? I have to relearn the scheme. No, it's going to be the same scheme. It's just they're going to use different personnel alignments in the front seven. The secondary alignments are going to be pretty much exactly the same. So if they can't get Eric Berry, or if they don't believe in him and they decide to go with Trey Boston, I wouldn't be mad. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah,
he's got the range to play opposite Eric Reed. So
yeah, I mean, I think ultimately, I'm on the fence about the whole Will Grier pick. I mean, he's great value at 100. Yeah, we still needed a safety, but at the same time, is there really a safety still out there? Or even at the time, was there a safety that was still out there that would be an upgrade over a cheap free agency signing like a Trey Boston or an Eric Berry or whomever else. Somebody that could actually start right now. You got to think that any safety that you're getting at pick 100 is probably not a day one starter, you know?
I don't know. I mean, what's his face got picked in the first round of the fourth round, I should say. Chancey Gardner-Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think he could have been.
But that's what we think. And a lot of people thought he was a first or second round grade safety, but I think it's pretty telling that 32 NFL GMs let him go around the merry-go-round twice before they finally picked him. They must have a very different evaluation.
I agree. I mean, it's the Jimmy Clausen logic, so
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, and for him to go around, expected first, maybe early second round pick, for him to go through the entire second round, the entire third round, plus the compensatory picks, finally gets to go at the top of the fourth. It's like there clearly is something that the scouts are universally telling these GMs about this kid that is a major flaw that they were all looking at as either that or they were like us and they just felt that they had greater needs at other positions. But there's clearly a flaw that a lot of people weren't seeing that the scouts and the GMs were with this guy.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't know what that flaw is.
I think it's a combination of the two.
Like, I can't evaluate DBs to save my life, so I don't even try.
I think it's a combination of the two. I think he's flawed in some way, like you said, that all 32 teams see something wrong with him. Like, we don't know what it is, but something. I mean, it could be that something that we didn't even hear about. Like,
yeah, it could be medical.
Yeah, it could be medical. It could be something like that. I mean, we don't know. But I think the one key thing here is that NFL teams don't value safeties as much as fans do. You only have so much money and so many draft picks to build a roster. So you have to make sure you have a quarterback. You have to make sure you have a left tackle, and you have to make sure you have a defensive end.
Mm-hmm.
You need at least 2 defensive ends, and 3 is preferable. So you're limiting the resources you have, and free safety just keeps getting pushed further and further down the list.
Yeah, and we drafted.
We drafted Rashawn Golden last year. I know people don't think he's a safety, but Ron Rivera does. And we drafted him last year, so I kind of see why they're not doing it again.
I just think he's the same kind of safety as Eric Reed.
He is, absolutely. And putting them on the field together is not or should not be an option. But, we put Mike Adams and Eric Reed on the field together. We've done it before. So I wish we would get a real, true, genuine center fielder type free safety.
Yeah,
but,
I do too.
But Ron apparently doesn't care. And I'm fine with it even if we just find one in free agency, but I think we should have one. But I get why they're not using draft capital to go get one.
Yeah, well, it's because, I think Ron's not wrong in believing this, if that's his belief. We've been a top 5 defense without a good safety his entire tenure at certain points, and that was all because the pass rush was good. So, again, if the pass rush is working, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah. Daniel Camp says, what about Kurt Coleman? I don't think they're going to bring back Kurt Coleman. I think that ship has sailed. Like, they let him go for a reason.
I think there's probably feelings there. Yeah. I think that's probably the only reason. I think.
Yeah, and even if they wanted him, he wouldn't want to come back.
Yeah, when I say feelings, I mean feelings on Kurt Coleman's end, not necessarily ours. I think he was pretty let down when we didn't re-sign him. So.
Yeah, I think because he went to the Saints, so I think I think he specifically went there to stick it to Carolina twice a year, and I don't think that he's coming back.
That said, if the phone doesn't ring and we're the only one who calls, he probably
paydays. Yeah, nobody's going to turn down $1 million.
Yeah.
Do you think we need a Thomas Davis replacement? I think with 3-4 we might be okay with only Luke and Shaq and the 2 edges. I don't think we need a Thomas Davis replacement. And my opinion is probably going to, it's going to be that we don't need a Thomas Davis replacement because there is no such thing as a Thomas Davis replacement. Shaq is quote unquote the Thomas Davis replacement, but Thomas Davis gives you things that you cannot replace. He has the most heart, the most will, the most stick-to-itiveness, the most passion, leadership, talent, desire, all those combinations into one player that you cannot find in a draft pick. There is only one Thomas Davis. There will never be another one.
I'm gonna make a hot take right now, and I know some people might hate me for it. Thomas Davis deserves a statue even more than Sam Mills.
It's a hot take, but I kind of agree with you to an extent. For one, Sam Mills didn't play in Carolina his entire career.
Yep.
Thomas Davis hasn't either because we let him go. But he wasn't here but for 2 years.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that what he meant to this organization is nothing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The keep pounding and everything is inspirational and fantastic, and I'm glad that we've made it a part of our identity. But to me, Thomas Davis means keep pounding more than Sam Mills does.
And so, I mean, here's the thing, and I think we can probably all agree to this. The reason Sam Mills is a legend Sam Mills is a legend because of what happened to Sam Mills and what he said shortly before his untimely passing. That's how you cement a legend like Sam Mills. Sam Mills was an excellent linebacker. Sam Mills only played for us for a few years. Thomas Davis was an excellent linebacker who embodied the same spirit as Sam Mills. I mean, he's the only one that I know of to overcome that many significant knee injuries and be extremely effective his entire career.
Yeah, he's the only NFL player to ever tear an ACL 3 times and continue playing.
Yes. So really the reason that we hold up Sam Mills in such high regard is that he had an unfortunate, untimely, terrible death due to cancer, which not that he doesn't deserve the statue because he does. I just think we should be extremely fast to erect another statue right next to the man the moment Thomas Davis decides to retire, because that man has meant more to this franchise than anyone, especially since the 2000s.
Yes, I fully agree.
Heart and soul, man. It's going to be painful to watch.
I don't like the fact that he's in San Diego. I think we should have given him a 1-year deal, and I think if we would have, he would retire at the end of this season.
Yeah, the problem is if you give him that 1-year deal, we know Ron Rivera, he's going to play. Shaq Thompson is still going to sit, and then we're going to wait.
It's a sunk cost at this point. I mean, we've already used the draft pick. He's already been here for 5 years. To me, Thomas Davis is too valuable. And I mean, I would hope that Ron would know well enough to just use him as a rotational piece. Yeah. Because I fully believe Thomas Davis, once he retires, he'll be back as a coach, like during training camp with Carolina. He'll be back as a coaching intern. I think he's going to stay tied to the organization.
I hope so. I mean, he certainly should be tied to this organization forever because he's exactly who this organization wants. I mean, that's again that he's basically. I've written this in a couple articles before. I firmly believe that the moment Sam Mills' soul left his body, it went straight to Thomas Davis.
I agree with that. Daniel Camp says, will Thomas Davis sign a 1-day contract to retire as a Panther? Absolutely, yes.
Oh, definitely, especially with Hurney back in charge.
Yeah, unless something happens in the next 2 years where, bitterness comes out, like Hurney does a press conference and cuts a WWE style promo on him or some shit. Yes, he will retire as a Panther. I mean, Jonathan Stewart just came back the other day, and I mean, we cut him for the same reason, that we wanted to get younger. So I think Thomas Davis knows that it's a business. And I think obviously he still has another year left in the tank. So I don't think there's going to be any hard feelings there.
No, and the only reason that we even are thinking about that now is because apparently Dave Gettleman was such a colossal asshole that nobody even wanted to give him the satisfaction of coming back for a single day to do the same thing. So I think those days are probably over.
Yeah, and I think Thomas Davis, two things are going to happen, and I believe 2020. The Chargers are going to cut Thomas Davis because they're not going to pay him for 2 years. They're going to get out of that deal. He's going to sign a one-day contract and retire as a Panther. His number will be retired in the first home game of 2020, and they'll build him a statue. Because Tepper has already said that he wants to expand the Ring of Honor, and it absolutely needs to be. We've had 25 years worth of players. We have the flexibility now to add a couple of names. Like, I'm not saying that like Chris Gamble is going to get in or Chad Cota is going to get in or things like that. But guys like Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, possibly John Casey, considering he was
Stewart could get a statue too, man. He could. Not a statue, but he could be in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're going to start seeing that grow over the next couple of years.
I think we should build them all statues and put them on a big hill with a bunch of Panthers surrounding them and stick it right in front of that statue with Jerry Richardson with the two Panthers.
I absolutely agree.
Or maybe build it like a volcano so the Jerry Richardson statue is actually in the crater.
Yeah.
All you see is everything else around it, and you'd have to actually climb it to see the Jerry Richardson statue.
Yeah. Because, it's just in the contract, statue has to stay there.
Right. I think. There may be something about they can't cover it up. Who knows? But,
I'm sure he put it in there that we can't cover it up, because if we couldn't, then I'm sure Tepper would be an asshole enough to build a fence around it so you can't
built a mansion on top of it.
He'd have built a mansion on top of it or something.
Yeah.
I'll ask you guys' thoughts on something not Panthers related. Did you see that Doug Baldwin might retire?
No, I did not.
Yeah,
wow, really?
Why?
He's been dealing with a serious injury.
Well, he had his knee issue he kept struggling with last year, and I guess he had surgery on his groin and his shoulder since the season ended. And the cumulative effect of the injuries, he might just call it quits.
Yeah, I saw that too.
He's what, 27, 28? He's young. He's
I
really
think he's
young,
a little
right?
older
I thought he was 30.
Is he
I think
30?
he's-
I'm
I think
just
he's 30.
guessing.
He's been around for a while.
Let's see. Doug Baldwin is 30 years old.
Yeah, he'll be 31 when the season
Nice.
starts.
I was right about something. There we go.
Not unusually early retirement, but he's made his money. You couldn't blame him.
He's got a couple of years left in him, though, age-wise. But, yeah, that's a lot to deal with.
No, I don't think it's he wants to retire. It's just that he might not be able to
Like he
play.
doesn't have a choice in the matter? Okay.
Yeah, like he's just got...
This
too many-
guy's name is Tranquil.
Drew
Well,
Tranquil.
He's
And
really
Drew
good.
I was
Tranquil.
going to say he is
He's really good.
Yeah, he is really good, and I think there's your answer to why Thomas Davis might just be there for a year and who he's meant to mentor, because
Yeah.
that's a very good player that the Chargers just took.
Yeah,
Terrible name.
like I said, Thomas Davis is a 1-year stopgap. Here's a question in the CSR chat. Mr. Burns wants to know, does this draft seem to have a lot more trades than normal?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to be the norm nowadays with the fact that draft picks are so cheap.
Yeah, I think so too. I noticed there are a lot more trades that I'm used to seeing. I haven't paid that much attention, in the last couple of years, because I kind of tuned out for a while on it after the first round. But, like Brian just said, I think draft picks are going to be much more tradable assets now, especially now that comp picks can be traded. So I think what we're seeing this year is going to be what we start seeing going forward.
I will say, with the caveat, the CBA is going to be negotiated again here. Not next year, but the following year.
I think so. Yeah.
So that could change things. But as of right now, for this draft and next draft, I think this is going to be the norm.
Oh yeah, and especially when you're talking about middle and late round picks. Once you're in the 4th round, especially once you're in the 5th round, if you really feel strongly about a guy and you don't think he's going to make it to your next pick, why the hell not?
Yeah, you're
Who cares
basically
if you
picking
give
your
away a
UDFAs right now.
Yeah. Who cares if you give away a 7th rounder or a 6th rounder? It's all luck at this point. So if you really feel strongly about a guy, just give up what you got to and go get him.
Yeah, and you're basically risking, we might not get to pick Captain Munnerlyn.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what, and it's a 10-year veteran, a 10-year mediocre veteran. You can find those anywhere. I really hope that we trade our 5th and 6th rounders to get back up into the bottom of the 4th round, pick somebody so we can just call it a day.
I don't.
Well, of course you don't, because,
I
you
want
think-
as many 6th rounders as possible.
okay. You care to expand on that?
Well, not to drive you nuts and keep you up until 6
Oh,
p.m.
I have to watch the whole thing anyway, so I don't care.
No, I mean, it's probably too late for any type of trades anyway, so.
Well, why would you want to trade to get as many 6th rounders as possible? Like, is there a lot of value there to you, or?
Well, I still think there's some pretty good value that they could address, especially in the interior defensive line. And I think the safety part that ship has sailed, and I think they can address linebacker and backup running back if they really wanted to pick up.
I think we need to draft Kingsley Kiki because that's just another great name, and he's a defensive lineman.
Kingsley Kiki and Luke Kuechly? Yes, absolutely.
Has Dalen Mack been
New law
selected?
firm. Holy shit, it's the new law firm. The law firm of Kiki and Kuechly.
Yes. Who been drafted, Billy?
Dalen Mack.
I haven't seen his name.
I haven't seen his name.
Hold on, let me look through. Dalen Mack. ...
Not today.
No, he hasn't been drafted today.
Yeah,
Defensive tackle from Texas A&M?
Yeah, I like him a lot.
Yeah, he hasn't been drafted yet.
Okay.
Yep, not seeing his name. So if he was available at the beginning of the day, he's still available.
Oh, so the teams do stay at home because the Cowboys are in Texas. They're war rooms in Texas. That's my question from Thursday.
What was it?
I was like, are the teams all at the draft, or are there war rooms back in their local?
I think
office?
the teams
Their war rooms are at their home base, wherever their city is, and then they have 2 guys that they send to the draft to pick up the phone call and send the picks in.
Gotcha.
Oh, really? I thought they all went to Nashville. Okay.
No, because they just showed the.
They're at their home base in Charlotte, or for the Panthers at least, and then Dallas is obviously in Dallas, and yeah.
Frisco.
Yeah, and especially this year with the format.
Oh, that's a name right there.
They don't have.
Oh boy.
Anymore.
Ugachukwu Amadi from Oregon.
Huh?
Wow.
That's a name. Ugachukwu Amadi. He's a safety from Oregon.
Ooga chaka, ooga ooga.
Yeah.
Ooga chaka. I can't stop this feeling
Ooga ooga. No, I love it.
inside of me.
That's a perfect defensive lineman name, man. Just get
He's a safety.
Holy crap! If I were a defensive lineman, my name was like that. I would just get the entire line at the beginning of every play to walk up to the line and go ooga chaka ooga ooga. Tell me that wouldn't mess with some people's head, man.
Yeah.
The thing I was talking about yesterday. Clearly, NFL teams put some value in names.
Of course. They should.
I would.
Well,
Like,
the
If
truth.
I got to break a tie between a bunch of similarly ranked prospects, I'm taking the one with a cool name.
I mean,
Of
so
course.
there's a definite history of people with Polynesian or South Pacific names being really good in the NFL, and a lot of these really interesting names are of that descent. So, and I'm pretty sure this guy's is as well. So,
Okay. CJ Miller's or Christian Miller's dad is Corey Miller, former Gamecock, and former New York Giant. His Twitter handle is Pastor of Pain. And Christian Miller's nickname is Deacon of Pain. That is an amazing nickname.
that's
Pretty
awesome.
cool.
He prefers C-Mill, though. I don't know why.
Email. No, Cam will assign him something stupid, and he'll be.
Oh,
fine.
of course. Cam will call him something like cornflakes or
Yeah.
some weird shit. I don't understand where Cam gets. Like when I interviewed Curtis Samuel a couple of years ago, I asked him about Cam giving him a nickname, and he said it was Cutco or Kurtco or something like that. And
Probably,
he told me that nobody knows why Cam comes up with the shit he comes up
Yeah,
with.
Samuel probably went to Costco and bought something for him at some point. And he-
Yeah, probably.
Cam's a
Would you
special
guys,
bird.
Brad, would you be open to trading the 5th round pick for Kyle Rudolph?
Yes.
Hell
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely.
Hell yes.
It seems like the Vikings are open to 5th rounders for Rudolph.
We won't get
Why?
anybody in the 5th round better than Kyle Rudolph.
Do it
And
right fucking now.
yeah, I mean, shit.
Why are they doing that?
It says Albert Breer said the Vikings are going into day 3 to the draft open to.
They drafted a new tight end in the draft.
Well, no, he's just said they want some of their expensive veteran players like off their roster.
He's not even 30 yet.
And he's not really that expensive.
No. Hell yeah. 5th rounders all they want. Hell yeah.
And they would have to eat the guaranteed money, so we would just have to pay his salary. Fuck yeah, send it to him right now. Send him a
What
fucking
is? Let's see. I'll drive to Minnesota and bring him home.
Yeah. I'll come with a freaking basket of fresh peaches and pecans.
Yeah, seriously.
Can't get up there, and let's get this guy.
His guaranteed, his base salary, is $7.2 million this year. He'll be a unrestricted free agent next year.
Hurney has made a great trade for a tight end before.
That's why that's why they're only asking for a 5th round pick. Whoever takes him has to pay him $7 million.
We can afford it,
But we could afford it.
and I think,
We could cut Torrey Smith.
yeah, we could do that.
No, guys,
We could
I don't
do-
think that's an option.
But I mean, I would do it for it as far as football reasons, because we don't know if Greg Olson's foot is going to stay a foot for very much longer. And you can't have too many good football players. I mean, obviously you can. You can have more. You can't have more than 53. But when you have a chance to just use a meaningless draft pick and get an actual good player, you should do it.
Oh yeah, I mean, let me tell you, if Greg Olson somehow does stay healthy the entire year, and you've got Kyle Rudolph, and you've got Ian Thomas,
That's deadly.
that's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah.
that's probably the greatest tight end core I can think of in maybe ever.
Yeah. Oh, the Patriots just did another Patriots thing and drafted another backup quarterback to back up Tom Brady
What a waste!
that they're going
I
to flip.
waste, I
Jarrett
say.
Stidham went to the Patriots.
What a waste of a pick.
Yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised we didn't draft him instead of Will Greer.
We I don't know. Will Greer was just our guy.
Yeah, they really just liked Will Greer.
You know how like the sites have the like the list of player visits, and they'll have different like abbreviations for private workouts or pro day and stuff. And
Yeah.
Will Greer had like every single possibility. Like we had a dinner meeting, and we had a private workout that counted as a local meeting, and we talked to him at the combine. We talked to him at his pro day. Like it was
I think Marty Herney lived with him too. Like I think he moved into his house.
everything.
And that's what I'm trying to tell people. The eventuality was very simple. We were going to draft Will Greer, and it really doesn't matter because of that. It doesn't matter that we gave pick 77 up.
Yeah, we would have just taken Will Greer at 77 if we didn't trade it to get Greg Little.
100%. We absolutely would have taken him at 77. So really, who we lost out on was who we would have picked at 100. But if the reality is, if whoever we picked at 100, that would mean that we didn't trade up, which would mean we probably don't end up with Greg Little. So depending on how you feel about the other offensive tackles that were still out there, and I know Billy thought some of them were pretty good, but me looking at Greg Little, I see a guy who legitimately probably could come in on day one and protect Cam better than anybody we have currently.
Yeah.
It's just
And the front office believes that too. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the trade.
no, and
Well,
I think it's pretty crazy that we're right now we're talking. I don't really know how it happened. I know it was a very strange first round, and that the board really, really, really fell in our favor all the way down. But I just didn't really think it was possible to get a quality left tackle in the second round ever. But yet here we were this year with several quality left tackles still available in the second round.
Well, I hope he's a good left tackle because they just showed the Rams front four pass rush right now, and we played them week one. Clay
Yeah.
Matthews, Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, Michael Brockers, and Dante Fowler.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I don't think
insanity.
Nobody's that good. We can't.
41-10 Rams.
No, it's totally possible, man.
It really is possible. But the only benefit,
And
and,
then-
I said this when the schedule came out, we're actually lucky that we play the Rams first because literally anything can happen in week one. Week one is a crapshoot in the NFL because people, teams are not, they're not in sync sometimes. Like we beat Dallas 16-8 last year in week one, and both teams look like they didn't even belong on the field. So there's a shot that happens again.
Go ahead, Billy. You've been trying to chime in for a minute here.
No. I got you. Yeah, no, that's right. And the good news is they do play them week one, and I think the weather will be a factor too because I'm sure it's gonna be like 89 to 100 degrees almost.
Yeah.
And the Rams obviously coming from LA, they're not used to they're not gonna be used to the humidity.
Right.
Remember when we played like the Seahawks week one, like in 2013? It's gonna be that type of game where it's like low scoring, and then whoever was like the tougher team, kind of wins out. And I think in that situation, it'll probably be like, I have no idea. Like I know the Seahawks beat us that one year when D'Angelo fumbled like at the end of the game.
So let me throw this out there. Maybe Cam's shoulder is quote acting up, quote in week one, and we let Greer go ahead and take that one.
Oh God, we would ruin his career. Might as well. He's David Carr 2.0 at that point.
Right. Yeah. Let's throw.
Maybe that's what we're doing, though. Maybe it's an insurance policy on Cam's life.
Maybe Greer also gets a phantom injury, and we let Heineke take that one.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
God.
I feel like Heineke should be cut like tomorrow.
But, I mean, do you think that Heineke doesn't provide any value outside of being a quarterback? Do you think we would still keep an emergency quarterback?
I think Kyle Allen is better. I know a lot of people are not convinced. I felt that
Kyle Allen is absolutely better than Heineke. Like, there's no question there.
No, even in I'm not really saying this with the benefit of that Saints game in hindsight. I thought he would look better in the preseason games too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I thought it was pretty surprising to me that we went ahead and offered Heineke like that. I really thought Kyle Allen earned that backup job for sure.
He can move. Like that's his one thing. Like they wanted him because he could move.
Yeah, but he also panics like a mother.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't doubt that. And I know a lot of fans are also saying we should bring back Garrett Gilbert because he lit up the AAF. And let's just put that to bed now. There's a reason those guys were in the AAF.
Yeah. RIP AAF.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't be mad if we brought him back to be the third guy. Like, I mean,
I think we were very, 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 very smart in bringing all these AAF guys onto our team for camp, because if nothing else, they'll be a little less rusty than everybody else.
Yeah.
And they'll probably provide a little bit better competition.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's absolutely no reason not to bring them in and get a good look at them.
Yeah. I thought it was fine. Everybody else thought it was a little weird. I was like, well, I mean, who else are you going to sign? Other people that you don't know their names? So might as well take the guys who've had a little more coaching and have played a little more recently.
Mr. Burns in the thread has a good reason to not want Rudolph. I don't want too many tight ends. It's hard enough finding a Panthers player in fantasy football that you can rely on other than Cam. That is a solid argument.
I can tell you that I have won many, 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 many fantasy football leagues over the course of my years, and none of them have been because I had Panthers on my team.
Yeah, I try to avoid Panthers because I seem to be a reverse jinx.
The only Panther that has ever been a part of my fantasy winning team was Greg Olsen.
Yes, Greg Olsen's the only one.
Yeah, I had Greg Olsen last year and he got hurt, or 2 years ago and he got hurt. And then I had Tyler Eifert and he got hurt. And then I had CJ Uzomah and he got hurt. I think I ended up with Eric Ebron. I got lucky. And this was before he broke out. And or not Eric Ebron, the guy from the Giants.
Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram, yeah. I got him before he broke out. And I got lucky.
Everybody tuning in here, I just want to point out that I am the right our champion this year, so whatever these other guys say about fantasy football, you can probably ignore it. I'm the one that you want to do.
Yo, Brad.
What?
Dortmund lost to Schalke?
Oh, yes, they did.
That pretty much seals the league then for Bayern.
If they win tomorrow, yes. they'll be 4 points ahead with like 2 games left. So it just about does.
I still have no idea how I won the fantasy football league this year. I came out of
I
nowhere.
have no idea how you did either. I
Came
really
out
don't.
of nowhere. And Walker had a really, really, really bad week in week 16.
Yeah.
I wish you could go back and like look at past seasons without reactivating the league. I would like to look at it.
It was. I had disaster injury-wise happen to my team early. I thought I was out of it. I made a few good pickups, and before I knew it, I was in the playoffs as the last seed, and somehow I made my way through and won the whole thing.
I know my team, me and Walker were like killing it all season. Can't find my team.
Yeah, I was almost certain that Walker was going to whip my ass, but somehow I won.
I was just glad to make the playoffs.
I know. Yeah, before the season, you and Evan were talking about like because you
We're
guys played
going
the
to-
last season. You're like the
Yeah.
last game of this season. It was like the toilet bowl,
Yeah.
but then what are you doing?
You know what's really weird?
Michael
So,
Jordan is a Bengal.
Well,
Classic.
That is
Yeah,
really
that-
weird, John.
That is really weird. But what's even weirder is despite Antonio Brown dominating so much of the conversation over the offseason, I still, until just now when the draft little, ticker at the bottom reminded me of it, forgot that he's on the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, it's very easy to remember that he's not on the Steelers anymore, and much harder to remember that he's actually on another team now.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot more news about his departure than him.
Hey, you
where he
guys want to
actually
hear?
went.
You guys want to hear a joke? Le'Veon Bell went to the Jets and got paid a ton of money, and Antonio Brown went to the Raiders and got paid a ton of money, and the Steelers responded by paying Ben Roethlisberger $30 million a year. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's funny because of all of the stuff coming out about him being a bad person, and the Steelers are like, "Oh yeah, well watch this.
Well, here's some more money, buddy.
We're going to commit to him longer term."
Well, I mean, to be fair, if you're looking for a guy who single-handedly can penetrate even the toughest defense, I mean,
Can we not?
can put up
Can we
all the
not do
resistance
this?
that you want, but Ben Roethlisberger is still gonna take it to you.
Gonna give it to you.
Ben gonna give
Roth
it to you.
gonna give it to
you.
Gonna give it to you. Roth gonna give it to you. God damn it! I hate you. I hate that you made me make that joke.
Well, good, Brian. You have a new shit post for this week, man.
That's true. I have a quota to meet. So
Yeah, just
Oh,
get
we're
you a
almost done
good
with the fourth round.
DMX and put a Steelers helmet on him, and there you go.
Roth gonna give it to you. Gonna give it to you.
I mean, it's even almost a banker's joke. If you can fit IRA in there somewhere, you'll really be killing it.
Hey, IRAs are fine. All right. You get tax breaks.
And Roethlisberger IRAs are not fine.
So hold on.
Yeah, definitely
I'm
not.
getting these negative tweets like in my mentions. I said that the Ravens and Colts are having my two favorite drafts, and I said no surprises, each have smart GMs. And this guy like quote tweets me. He was like, "You've been negative pretty much since the whole draft. It's depressing, man." I'm like, all I said was the Colts and Ravens are having my favorite drafts. I didn't mention the Panthers.
Because
You have been a
didn't
negative
say-
Nancy.
you didn't say the
No, but like-
Panthers have your favorite draft and you're a Panthers fan. You have to remember that if you're a Panthers fan, you have to be all in, full barrel. Everything is sunshine and rainbows. Nothing has ever been wrong. The team knows exactly what they're doing. Marty Herney is the best GM. Ron Rivera is the best head coach. Cam Newton is the best quarterback. We have the best roster. All that. If you don't, you're negative.
All right. Well, now that he's done with his rant, Billy, you have sounded a little negative on
And
Twitter.
you have
Like, I
been a
know-
little bit
I-
negative,
no,
Philly.
I don't-
To be
I
fair.
don't disagree with that at all. But like, it would be another tweet to like quote tweet me if you're gonna like accuse me of being negative, in my opinion.
Well, people are just going to wait for it and wait for the opportunity to reply when they see.
Well,
your
yeah,
name.
obviously they're going to cherry pick your tweets. That's just how Twitter
That's
works.
just how Twitter works. Yeah.
That and their tweet gets more exposure if they quote somebody who has more followers than them. So that's part of the deal.
Yeah, I have noticed a lot of time when somebody quote tweets you, they have like 3 followers.
No,
I just want more
no,
followers, guys. Okay.
No, I actually like this guy too. Like his Twitter account is Chubb in a Tub, and like I've always had like. Dude, I'll let you guys know he's probably following this.
No, that's fantastic. Welcome, Chubb in a Tub.
Chubb in a Tub. That is a fantastic Twitter handle.
Hang out. I want to meet this guy. I want to hear this guy. I want to hear.
I mean, look at my last tweets who I'm responding to, so you guys can see.
Shoving it.
Chubb in a Tub. Oh god. Oh man, I had a little bit of a headache, but I just laughed it out.
That's what the Chubb in the Tub does to you.
Pulled it right out.
Oh man.
Jesus.
Is it like fully submerged or like partially submerged? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, is it a soaking tub or are we talking like the corner of a New York apartment tub here?
Is it a hot tub?
Yeah, cold tub. Did he use it yesterday? Is he one of those people who keeps their bath water in the bathtub ready for next use?
Wait, there are people who do that? What the fuck?
Yeah, there are people who do that, especially in New York City because water costs so damn much.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
Yeah.
I also
Nothing
like
like a
to,
nice room temperature bath to really relax you.
I also
Yeah.
like to bathe in my own fluids. So
Well,
Yeah,
you shouldn't
I
have
mean-
any fluids in the tub, Brian, if you're doing it
Well,
right.
Brian, it's like sediment. You know, the old stuff just settles to the bottom. So if you get in really slow, then you're mostly bathing in clean water.
exactly.
Well, there goes Deontay Thompson, folks.
Fuck.
Ah, damn it!
Went to the Cardinals. Good pick for them.
Finally.
Every
Yeah.
time I see
Actually,
his
having
name,
a
I think of
draft-
Deion Buchanan, so that's a good pick for the Cardinals.
No, that is a good pick for the Cardinals. It's unfortunate that they're such a terrible organization. Well, they're not as terrible as the New Orleans Saints, but I mean they're terrible in that they just are never going to win because they keep doing stupid things.
I mean, the New York Giants would have,
Daniel Camp says in the YouTube chat, you should like the Panthers reporters, Bradley. I actually do like the Panthers reporters.
I actually think, yeah.
No,
I agree.
I think we
fine.
have good.
They're
I
not
think we have good beat reporters.
No, they're good reporters. I just think that they take this like pro management stance a little too far sometimes.
Well,
I
to
think
be
that's
fair,
our
I think .com kind of has to. Like,
No,
I
I'm,
think
not, I'm not talking about .com. I'm talking about like guys like I'm not. Well, I think Jordan kind of does it in a little bit.
I think it's a relic from the Jerry Richardson presidency, so to speak. Like, if
Oh, he said you.
Out,
He
man.
said I meant sound. You sound like the Panthers reporters.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Richardson
I
would shut
appreciate
you
that.
out. Like, if the Observer took a negative stance consistently on the Panthers, Richardson would shut them out. Like, I think that's just left over from when it was like that. And who knows? Tepper might still be like that quietly, but we don't have any proof of that.
The other thing,
I think it's just an artifact of what they used to have to deal with.
well, regardless of the owner and like actual rules and stuff, I think it's harder to be overly critical about them because they kind of know them on a personal level to an extent because they actually sit there and talk to them face to face pretty regularly.
Yeah, that is true.
And then on top of that, you also don't want to lose your credentials.
You don't want to
and
lose your
stuff.
access. Yeah, you kind of. It's kind of hard to shit on a player and then go in the locker room the next day and expect them to give you interview
Exactly.
or quote. And they do have a job to do, and if they can't get those those interviews and quotes, then they don't have their job anymore. So you kind of do have to pull back the sword a little bit. Whereas me, I don't really give two shits because they won't let me in the room anyway.
Yeah.
I guess if we ever get a press pass, then maybe one of us will have to not talk shit.
Yeah, if we ever get a press pass, which for those of you who have ever wondered, now that JR doesn't have his hands on the team, I am going to try to get press passes for CSR this year. But because the reason why we've never had them is because Jerry Richardson would not allow us to because we're not a traditional print newspaper, and he has an surprise, he has an antiquated view of how the media in the world should work. But David Tepper is more progressive in that area, so I'm going to try to get us access. And they can still say no, but it won't be because I didn't ask.
Did you guys just see what happened on the Steelers?
I thought
No.
Billy was laughing.
Well, I thought you were laughing at me. I'm like, what the hell, man?
I was like, shit, Billy.
No, it's just like they're announcing, and some guy like runs
Oh,
across.
some guy just ran across the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, damn it. I hate that I missed that.
that was funny. But yeah, we're gonna try to get access, and like this guy just JDS just said in the chat, they do have they're afraid to mess up a relationship, and if we get access, I'm not gonna not like stop keeping it real, but we will have to scale back because they could take it away from us too. So
Yeah, they could. But at the same time, I feel like
I'm not gonna put lipstick on a pig,
No.
and I'm not gonna piss on you and tell you it's raining, but I'm not gonna just like outright shit on a player when I don't have to.
And I get that we take some crap from some people for doing this, but every single team, without us, it would be pretty all rose-colored glasses as far as Panthers media goes, because all the other outlets are pretty overwhelmingly positive about things, and they keep the negative stuff inside. I really feel like we're the only ones that actually will discuss the negative stuff publicly, which I think is needed. Every other fan base has that. We need it too. So
yeah, and if you don't want to be around negative energy or quote unquote, and you don't like it, you don't have to participate. Like you don't have to. You're not forced into it. I want every single person to read Cat Scratch Reader, but if we're not for you, we're not for you, and I fully understand that.
I'd rather us be honest than
I'd rather be honest for 25 people than lie for 100 people.
Yes, that's the way I am.
Did you guys
there's
know-
more integrity in that?
Do you guys know
Yes.
Riley Ridley, the wide receiver that got drafted by the Bears a little bit ago, is Calvin Ridley's brother?
I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
Did you also know that Riley's actual name is Calvin Ridley?
No, I did not.
So they have brothers that are both named Calvin Ridley.
Why would you do that?
It's just a great name, I guess. But he goes by Riley's his middle name, I guess. I don't know. My girlfriend's got two uncles that both have the same name. They're brothers. Just I guess their dad just really liked the name.
I guess so.
He's like, one of you is going to be a good son. So
Either that or I don't have to remember your names. I just have to remember one name. And if I say Charles or Calvin, all of you answer, I guess. I don't know.
it's like what was the guy's name? Is it Roy? Is that his first name? Hold on. Yeah, Roy Marble, who's an old basketball player. His kids' names all have Roy in their name,
Oh,
which is weird. And they're like even the girls. Children, Roy Marble children. There's Roy Marble. There's Roy Devin Marble is one son. Where are all the other ones? Whatever. They all have it. It's a moot point. They're all weird names. Are we gonna hang on here till the Panthers' next pick?
when is it?
It's like
11.
10 picks or so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
12
do
picks.
that, and we'll cut it after we pick
Yeah, probably be like 30
pick
minutes.
round.
I have a nap to take.
Who's covering it?
Did anybody sign up for it?
I don't know. I don't think so. Well, I guess that means I have to.
No. I can get it if you want me to.
Okay, if you want to, you can. Well, let me get a pre-write done.
Since I did a good job with Christian Miller. Keep the train rolling.
Sorry for my absence. Our
Didn't
We
dog,
didn't even know you were gone, Brian.
our dog tried to fight me. So,
Okay, I didn't even know you were gone. So
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate.
I legitimately
you know,
didn't know you were gone. There are so many people in this conversation. We didn't know you were. We just figured you weren't talking.
Brian today
Okay,
is
you're
big
just like
on
my
me
dad.
announcing
It's
that
fine.
he's not here. Like,
Yeah, Brian likes to let us know that he's here or not.
hey guys, I'm about to research something real quick, so I'm not going to talk. I haven't been talking for the last 5 minutes. It's like, okay, thanks.
It's like my dad. He didn't realize I wasn't here either.
Well, that's worse because you're theoretically in the same room.
I think they
Yep.
need a line. Honestly, if the right linebacker falls, that wouldn't be a mistake. What?
I was just laughing because we went from, oh, my dad didn't realize I wasn't here either, to just right into the NFL analysis.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just joking anyway, but it just made me laugh.
I can't believe
Anyway,
people
go ahead.
actually.
Go
I
ahead.
can't believe people actually stay around like as long as they do while we're doing this.
I know. What's wrong with you people?
What's wrong with us people? That's the real question.
I mean, for us, we're just doing what we would have done in the Slack chat anyway.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
saving me from typing.
By the way, we talk about all of you behind your backs.
Especially you, a real Panthers fan.
That guy.
Sean Boyd said, "I'm not listening to the stream. I'm playing RuneScape," which is odd that he knew we were talking about people listening to the stream if he wasn't
Yeah,
listening
seriously.
to the stream.
It's
Yeah.
kind of funny that you'd be playing RuneScape but still knowing what we're saying, sir.
I didn't
What
know
is RuneScape?
RuneScape is an MMORPG that's been around basically as long as the internet has. I'm surprised
Oh, okay.
people play it.
I know what RuneScape is.
Well, I'm old.
Yeah.
It's been around forever. I mean, you can be a Generation Xer and have played RuneScape a lot.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about RuneScape because I'm not a nerd.
Yes,
Oh,
you
but
are.
meanwhile, he's like, oh, but the numbers say that the Panthers should pass the ball more. Fucking nerd.
The numbers say that you should not take touchbacks. The numbers.
Yeah.
The numbers.
The numbers. Adjust glasses.
Yeah. Actually,
John totally adjusts his glasses when he says that about running the ball.
100% every time.
My glasses that I don't need. They're not prescription. They're just like
They're just
generic.
fake glasses.
Yeah, they're the fake glasses with just regular lenses that don't adjust sight. I need them to push up on my face whenever actually, people.
this guy has a cool name. Marvel Tell 3. Marvel Tell.
Oh, that is an awesome name. Marvel Tell.
Is that
Marvel
from
Tell
Is that
3.
like a computer model? Like, I feel like that's like my next laptop.
I'm gonna start calling people instead of like whatever the third or the fourth, like Will Fuller the fifth.
Well,
He's
the
Will
Bucs
Fuller
just
5.
took another kicker, guys. Let's see how he does this year.
Will Fuller 5.0.
Yeah. Matt Gay. I'll talk
Matt
about a
Gay
name.
kicker.
Okay, so better name: Greedy Williams or Rock Ya-Sin?
Rock Ya-Sin.
Rock Sin. But
Williams.
Greedy
Rock
is better
Ya-Sin.
for a corner.
Yeah,
I like
since
Greedy Williams.
considering position, I go Greedy Williams.
Yeah, considering position, definitely Greedy Williams.
If you're just talking like in general, it'd be Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah.
Rock Ya-Sin sounds like a fullback where like the linebacker blitzes and he just like pancakes him. That's like
Yeah.
Rock Ya-Sin, bruh.
I rock Ya-Sin.
Rock
Speaking of
Ya-Sin.
rocks and fullbacks,
I wanna rock
but
Ya-Sin
never knew.
all night.
I have no idea what Billy just is. Did you just make that up, Billy?
No, they're the tunes like a real song.
Okay, I had
Use
never heard
Rock
it before.
Ya-Sin instead.
Okay,
Just give him validation. He'll freak out if you don't.
okay, I understand. I understand your feelings and I validate them.
All night.
You're very good, Billy.
I try to be rad.
We appreciate you.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, no, I know what I was gonna say. So there's somebody that we never, ever got to see, and everybody was so hyped about. You guys remember Devin Johnson, The Rock? Devin
Oh, yeah.
Johnson.
Man,
Rockhead. That was it.
Panthers get
Rockhead.
hype for every
Oh.
fullback that ever makes it on the roster, no matter how good he is.
That makes me sad because Rockhead was cool. He
Because
played
we
like
love
every
ball.
position.
I always
He
have
played
this
like-
picture. Like of him being again, this is gonna make me super nerdy, but I always had this picture in my head of him looking like Gollum the Pokemon.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. It's
I
bad.
hope he's not listening.
No, I hope he's not too. I hope nobody's listening. Actually,
Then
can I just
again-
leave that?
Then again, Eric might be able to take him, so I don't know.
Possibly. He had a lower center of gravity.
Hey, he doesn't have to have a lower center of gravity. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't matter if you give him those hands. You know.
Low man wins.
Yeah. Lower center of gravity doesn't matter when you meet 360 pounds, right?
Yeah.
The
Down
irresistible force meets the movable object.
Yeah. I always contended
I
that the
would gladly pay
unstoppable
money to
force
see you
wins.
fight Rockhead.
Oh man, I'd probably get my ass kicked. Unless I'm allowed to use the environment. Like every fight that I've ever won in my life, it's because I use the environment. Like I threw, seriously, it's because I threw people through things.
There you go.
I've destroyed some furniture. I never paid for anything. Kind of feel bad. I feel like I should look these people up and replace their furniture. One time I destroyed my ping
Hey,
pong
it's been 12 years. Here's that chair.
table. Yeah.
Rockhead died?
Here's that ping pong table I destroyed.
GBS 16 says Rockhead died.
What?
Yeah, y'all didn't know that?
Oh, you didn't know
What?
that?
Oh,
What?
I thought y'all knew that. I thought one of you actually said that a minute ago. Yeah, he died a couple of years ago.
I did not know that. And the weird thing is, I almost said R.I.P. Devin Johnson, not knowing it.
Well, it's a lot easier to fight a dead guy.
Holy shit!
Brian, God damn it.
I guess I would win that fight. Thanks, Brian.
I had to say
Jesus
that.
Christ.
I'm sorry.
He was 25 years old.
Jesus.
Why did he die? I honestly don't know.
Let me
Why?
see. I can't remember what it was. Hang
Why
on.
is not the question I'd ask? 'Cause you-
I would ask how.
Not immediately known.
Okay.
According to the articles. Let's find out.
That's weird.
Did you kill him?
I did not. He was not one of the ones that I threw through furniture. Yeah, but if I think back on it, I've broken a ping pong table, a bar stool, and one mirror.
They never released the cause of death.
Huh.
That tells me one of two things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, sorry, Devin. You can certainly kick my ass.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
that's sad.
sad.
Now I'm sad. Yeah, I just talked about this guy like he was this really cool dude, and I had no idea. And he still was, but he's dead. Oh well. So NFL draft.
Is that kicker from Georgia with the glasses a draftable player? I don't know what year, if he's out this year or another year.
Yes.
Only
That'd
if they
be a
call
great
him
game
the
to know.
Wild Thing.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, if he would be a potential gets cut for Graham Gano kicker.
Ugh. Yeah, and you know what I hate about it the most? Harrison Butker made me care about kickers.
Yes.
Like I literally despise the kicking game, but Harrison Butker made me care.
Yeah, that whole discussion we probably got a little too
We hammered that one home pretty good.
Yeah, got beat down a little too much.
Yeah, and well, the problem is every time somebody brings up how much Graham Gano is making, we can't help ourselves, or I certainly can't help myself.
Yeah, but Harrison Butker wouldn't have made that 63-yard field goal against the Giants.
No, that's probably true, but he probably would have made that 35-yarder against the Lions.
That's also probably true. So all call comes out in the wash.
Right, exactly.
Another cornerback I like.
And both the extra points. Let's not forget those.
It's so funny how it just like it's not even like just like a reaction of despair where it's just like, and the Panthers score a touchdown to go up by 6, and it's like, well, Graham's gonna miss this one, and then he shanks it and is like, yep,
Yeah, pretty much.
figured. Like there's no like, oh my god, I can't believe it, or like or whatever. It's just kind of like, yeah, that's a thing that happens.
It makes no sense. I mean, his recent career field goal percentage is not that bad, but his extra point percentage is abysmal.
Well, here's the thing for me. It doesn't. There are two kickers in this league that you pay top dollar for, and neither one of them are named Graham Gano.
Correct.
It's Stephen Gostkowski and the dude from Baltimore. I can't remember his name. Justin Tucker. Those are the two guys you pay money for. Everybody else is on equal footing, and it doesn't matter if Graham Gano has been better recently or not. You don't pay him $4.5 million when you can pay Harrison Butker $450,000. It's just an absolute absurd allocation of money. And if you're not Stephen Gostkowski or Justin Tucker, the rookie gets the deal because the money is better. And it's simple math.
The other thing that really annoys me is like the fact that how they structured the contract. It's so like difficult to get out of.
Well, of course, they're not going to get out of it because they're not going to want to get rid of him anyway.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Like, it's incredibly dumb. Like, if there's actually, I hate when people play real football like they would Madden, but if there's one category that I believe Madden and actual football have correct, is that you can always underspend on a kicker.
Yeah. There are probably 5 or 6 quality, decent free agent kickers right now that a team could pick up.
We brought
Oh, yeah,
one
they
in.
were in
through a year.
They were in the AAF, man. Like, they had several great kicks in the AAF.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could get an AAF kicker and bring him in right now. The Bears did that.
I mean, that dude we brought in while Gano was hurt the last 2 games did pretty damn good.
Yeah, Chandler Catanzaro. I mean, Gano got hurt in week 12, and we found a kicker on Tuesday. Like, it's not that hard to do.
He didn't miss, right? I mean, am I remembering
He
that
missed
correctly?
one kick. He missed an extra point, I believe.
Okay. So nothing worse than what Gano would have done anyway.
Yeah, but he basically was Gano.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point. It's like we could have Gano for peanuts. Just
Exactly. The Bears signed Elliott Fry out of the AAF, a.k.a. Friesman, from South Carolina. And we could do that too. So, yeah, I mean, it's not hard to have a kicker. Now, sometimes it does end up costing you a playoff game because you have Cody Parkey. But most of the time, it doesn't.
Yeah, and that's the argument. But
but I mean, the Bears should have won that game anyway.
Yeah,
it shouldn't have come down to that kick.
It's one of those things where it's almost worth it to me. It's almost worth it to spend a 7th round pick every 4 years and constantly have a cheap kicker that you can let go of at the end of 4 years and replace with the next rookie kicker for nothing. You know what I mean? Kickers.
NFL teams should treat kickers the same way fantasy football players treat kickers.
Yep.
When you get a kicker, A, you draft him last. B, you try to get one that has a bye week in like week 10. Or that part doesn't really matter, but that's what I do. That's what I do. I always try, so I only have to make one move.
You get the one who has the bye week different from everybody else.
Yeah, you get a kicker that you don't have to mess with. When his bye week comes up, you get a different kicker who had a different bye week, preferably one that's already happened, and you make 2 transactions the whole year, unless he gets hurt. You get your original kicker and then your bye week replacement kicker, and that's it. You don't mess with it. You don't need it. And teams should do the same thing. Like you just said, get a kicker, get him for 4 years. When his rookie contract's over, cut him and draft another one, or sign another one as an undrafted free agent, and just keep cycling through. Kickers shouldn't be on the same team for 20 years.
And see, this is why I won the CSR League, because I actually go in and find out who has the best red zone defense, but the worst defense between the 20s. because like whatever kicker is playing that team is my kicker for the week,
Yeah.
and they're usually available because again they're kickers.
I
Yeah.
always draft a kicker in the round before the last round because I stream defenses anyway. So
Yeah, me too.
I take a kicker with my 15th pick, and then
Because then you'll get the best of the steaming pile of garbage.
That's a worthy strategy because then you get Gostkowski or Tucker.
I got
you
Tucker
know.
last year. And
Yeah,
it was
if you can get one of
nice.
those two, then yeah. But I mean, if you're going to get Cody Parkey, Graham Gano, guys like that, then it doesn't really matter when you pick them. They're all the same.
Yeah, so if any of you out there listening are kickers, you now feel completely worthless.
Exactly, as you should.
Oh man. Well, we're getting close to our pick finally.
Yep,
I should probably look at the TV.
we're 5 picks away. 149 is in now, and we're at
I feel like
154.
every
Marvel
time
Tell
I
3.
glance back at the actual, broadcast, the Raiders are picking or the Raiders are trading. It's like every single time. I guess that's what happens when, you're willing to
Give away
give
all
up
your
the best player in the NFL because you like drafting.
Down on his desk. in
Yeah, Bill
frustration.
Belichick's mad now.
So ultimately, you traded away Khalil Mack for Clelin Ferrell. Like that's the payoff, right?
Yeah, and that's not the worst trade that has been made because the Giants traded Snacks for.
Yeah, that's right.
They traded
Nothing.
Snacks for a 5th round pick, and then they took Dexter Lawrence in the 1st round when they already had Snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
And Snacks after
And
From-
Snacks is only what, 27, something like that.
he's like 30, but he's
maddening.
got 2 years left on his deal, and it's like $7 million a year. Like it's not too much different than a first round, like a rookie contract.
And that's just absolutely maddening. The 5th round pick. It's like, why the hell didn't we do that?
Yeah, we should have given a 5th rounder to get Snacks.
Why did the
Yeah.
Giants?
Well, I guess we didn't call Gettleman because that would have been awkward.
Yeah.
Hey, Gettleman.
Hey,
here's some
Dave.
shit.
It's the guy you replaced as general manager of the Carolina Panthers, who then replaced you as general manager of the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Well-
If you're going to give away good players, we'll take him off your hands.
That would be an awkward interaction, just because if unless it's a win-win or a lose-lose trade, like it looks real bad on the person, since they both replaced each other basically.
Yeah.
That if Dave Gettleman fleeces Marty Herney in a trade, not a good look for Marty, and vice
Yeah.
versa.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I could totally see that happening, though.
Oh, I
What,
could
Gettleman
too.
fleecing Marty?
Yeah.
I could also see the other way around.
Yeah,
Oh,
I could see
well,
the
I
other
could
way
see it
around.
going both ways. I could
Marty
definitely,
has fleeced people in trades before.
They'll
no,
fleece each other.
I could definitely see it going both ways. Yeah.
John, was it me and you that had this discussion where Marty Herney and Dave Gettleman are essentially what's good about one is the bad about the other, and vice
Probably.
versa? It's like the Spider-Man pointing at each other
hmm
meme where they are only both capable of replacing the other one, and nobody else will hire either one of them. So we're probably going to just keep trading.
Yeah,
them
we
back
did
and
that
forth.
conversation where Dave Gettleman was an overcorrection from Marty Herney's faults, and then we realized it was an overcorrection, so we overcorrected.
We
Dave Gettleman by
overcorrected the
going back to
overcorrection by
Marty Herney.
bringing Herney back.
Yeah, because Gettleman thinks he's smarter than everyone, and Herney will actually come out and say he's not smarter than anyone.
Well, it's funny
So-
because Dave Gettleman will also come out and say that, but he clearly doesn't believe it.
And nobody's talking about that. Did you guys catch the little quip yesterday where Marty Herney just really quickly dismisses and says, "Oh, I don't pay attention to advanced statistics or anything"?
He didn't say that.
Didn't he say that, Billy? What did he say? It was something
No,
like that, right?
I'm actually no. I have no idea. I said he didn't say that as far as
Yeah, there's no way he said that, right?
Said that. I will find it. Hold on, let me find
Oh
it.
God.
if he said that, I'm gonna clip it and I want every single Herney truther to defend it.
I don't know how many of those there are.
Why is Green Bay
a lot.
considered title town when they don't have the most Super Bowls?
Oh, there goes
'Cause-
King Lakiki.
You just kind of say it.
I mean,
guess
I mean they won the first two, but shouldn't New England be title town now?
they won the first two. So at one point they had won 100% of the Super Bowls. So
Yeah, I mean
Titletown.
until Super Bowl III, they had won 100%. But shouldn't Titletown be moved to Foxborough, Massachusetts,
Just probably Boston in general.
or
'Cause
Boston
those
in general?
assholes
Yeah,
win everything.
yeah. Life was so much better when the curse of the Red Sox was active, and the Patriots sucked, and the Celtics were rebuilding, and
Yeah.
now, they were much more subdued
Like
assholes.
how many World Series have the Red Sox won? 4.
Yeah, 4 since 2000.
Yeah, and the Patriots have won
4.
6 Super Bowls, and then the
Yeah,
Celtics
the
have won the
Celtics
title.
have
They won
won the
11 championships. 'Cause
The
I don't think
Bruins have won the NHL,
When
the
did the
Stanley
Bruins win?
Cup. They won the Stanley Cup like 6-8 years ago.
Okay, so they've won like 12 championships. The city of Boston has in the last 20 years.
They won it in 2011.
So yeah, so they have 12 championships in 20 years
Yeah,
as a city.
you can't complain.
You can never complain if you are a sports fan in Boston right now, like old enough to remember, the majority of those. You're not allowed to complain about sports ever for the rest
No.
of your life.
Sorry, I'm trying to find this this quote. If I do find it, it's going to be fun. I'm almost certain I saw it.
I want it to be true because I want Billy to melt down.
No, I'm gonna post that clip, and I want all these Herney truthers,
What are you doing, dog?
and I want all these Herney like truthers in the media and all these fans to like try to defend it.
Oh, I fully believe that our coaching staff and general manager don't believe in analytics.
Which
I
makes
highly
no
doubt they were the
sense.
ones that decided to post that like job opening for.
Oh no,
Whatever it was.
that's David Tepper, 100%.
Yeah.
Andrew Van Ginkel,
What?
the Dolphins took Andrew Van Ginkel.
Is that
Oh,
a person or a fairy tale character?
Do the Panthers have anything like this where they're having fans like announce picks or no?
I don't think so.
It's pretty unfortunate.
I mean,
Could've been you.
I never saw that they were. I mean, we had John Beeson and Charles Johnson. I don't think the news at least never broke that anybody else was doing it, at least not that I saw. I mean, there could be somebody there. I don't know. Hell, they could have seen Goose Creek and said, "Hey, can you announce the 5th round pick?" Because he was there. So, we'll never know.
No, I agree.
Guys, go find someone with a Panthers jersey. We need someone to read the pick.
Yeah.
Well,
We only could find one in a hat.
I went to the draft a couple years ago when I was in Philly, and when I think we selected someone in the 6th round. Cornelder. Like he was like a 5th round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were asking fans like who were like in the in the seats, like if they wanted to go up there and announce it, and like my name was like in the like little pool, but someone else like won, and he went up on stage and announced it.
Did he do
Oh.
a good job?
I think I have a video of it. I'll send it to you if I can find it.
It's okay. I just needed a
It's
yes or no
yeah.
answer if he was good.
No, because like they wanted like all the Panther fans who were sitting in that area to like stand up so they could be on TV. And I took like a video of it, and like some people were booing and others were just like cheering. I don't know. It was weird.
Mr. Burns brings up a good point in the CSR thread. If you want to include all major sports titles, New York is title town simply because of the Yankees.
Yeah, well, I guess all time, yeah. In recent times, New York.
Yeah,
It's
in recent
the
times,
furthest
no,
thing
but
from
all
title
yeah, recent times, no, but all time, yes.
Recent times, New York is like the butt of jokes
Yeah,
between whatever Gettleman's been doing and the Knicks being
Yeah,
the Knicks.
the
and
Knicks are the Knicks. I
the
honestly
Mets
feel
and
bad
Jets
for-
are always punching bags.
Yeah, I feel bad for New York fans.
I don't.
Well, I do and I don't. I do because they're the butt of jokes, but I don't because they're assholes.
Man, they've won the Giants won a Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yeah, Yankees fans can stuff it though because they've got 27 or 28. So, yeah,
Yeah, real cool winning champions when you're the only team in baseball that had money. Well, I see your name on the TV.
yeah. There's two more picks. The Falcons just made pick 152, and then there's Washington, and then
Washington's
us.
on the clock.
Yeah, Washington's on the clock, and then us.
How long, the amount of time they must spend to get all these personal stories for these players that are being drafted in the 5th round?
The Falcons just took Kadri Allison, a running back from Pittsburgh, who will probably rush for 400 yards against us.
In just the first meeting.
You know it. I know it. The world knows it.
Yeah.
Ugh. I got real confused for a second because I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention, and then they on the bottom it says the Falcons drafted a running back, and then on the screen they're showing a corner in coverage and making tackles. I'm like, this isn't what they were just talking about. Especially because they're showing highlights of he's a Penn State corner and they're playing against Pitt, who the Falcons running back is from.
Mm-hmm.
Got my brain in a pretzel for a second.
Were you overwhelmed?
No, I wasn't overwhelmed. Just pretzel brain.
Panthers are on the clock.
Panthers are on the clock, John. I'm on Twitter right now, so I'll look out for if Jordan or Max leaks it.
If you don't want to be spoiled and you're listening to this right now, you can mute it.
I took the no spoiler thing off of the open thread today because it's impossible to not be spoiled
On day 3 of the draft. Every minute.
The picks come in every 2 minutes, and then they won't announce. The Panthers will make their pick, and then the Browns will make their pick before they even on TV say who Washington took. So I mean, you can't really spoil picks on day 3.
Yeah, I understand the 4th round pick because ours was so early and they're still announcing them at the podium and stuff. But now when we get to this point, they're just flashing on the bottom of the screen while
they're on the bottom of the screen, and Twitter is announcing them. So it's not really
realistic. Yeah.
Oh, good. Another Dak Prescott commercial. Thank God.
Who did Washington take?
Dave Gettleman used a 3rd round supplemental pick on a corner. So he forfeited his 3rd round pick for a corner this year. And
Bill Vogt just said still going to be one box left unchecked, but this checks another. I don't know who it is yet.
Thanks, Bill. So,
I think it's a running back.
So
Probably.
Josh, real quick before we get to this, real quick, I want to talk about this real quick. Dave Gettleman, I guess, since they forfeited their 3rd round pick for a corner in the supplemental draft last year, they used the 1st, 3rd, and 4th round pick this year on cornerbacks.
Of course.
That's very Gettleman. All right, what were you gonna say, Brian?
I was just going to address Gary Pinkney's thing in the chat. He mentioned someone on CSR said both confirmed that. I think he meant Voth confirmed we're doing a full switch to a 3-4.
It's not 100% confirmed, but we probably are.
I don't think it's going to be a full switch. I think it's going to be hybrid. I still think that's what they're.
It's going to be more 3-4 than they originally said, though.
Yeah,
they were originally saying on 3rd down we'll switch to 3-4 look, but it's looking like we'll do it a lot more.
I would say it's 50-50.
Oh, Marvin Williams is announcing the pick.
Who?
Marvin Williams.
For the Panthers?
Oh, Hornets Marvin Williams?
Where are they announcing?
They were like, get me somebody in Charlotte. And he was the only Hornet still there.
Are you watching
Get out of here! Announce the pick.
Who the hell is that? Rosh Pierschbacher is who Washington picked.
Oh, she was talking about the Panthers, and I was like, I do not make me type that name.
No.
They picked Stephon Diggs.
What?
Pick is in. Who is it?
Pick is in. I don't know yet. It hasn't been announced.
You want me to wait till the name shows up on TV before I post it, or do you want me to just go straight ahead?
No, go ahead and do it. As soon as I find out who it is, because I mean
Cool, same.
we're giving it away to.
They picked Tom Brady.
They're on the clock right now, according to Jordan and
Yeah,
Marcel.
I'm
Well, they
refreshing
pick
Twitter
is in. The
repeatedly.
Browns are on the clock.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean we're gonna basically announce it for whoever's listening to us, so you can just post it whenever.
I can't find the quote, by the way, so I'm almost positive.
Eric has been looking for a long
We don't.
time.
Yeah.
Eric was watching the entire press conference.
I know, I really want to find this thing because I was like,
Eric's
appalled.
gonna come back 6 weeks from now with a full-grown beard and scraggled, and like I can't find it.
No, I'll have it on a small scrawled piece of paper, and I'll at your feet with it in my hands, but then the wind will blow it away.
Trey Ringo does it with that. Hunter Renfro's 37th-year collegiate career just came to an end.
The pick's in for the Panthers.
Yeah. Don't know who it is yet, though.
They're way behind. Denver's already on the clock.
Yeah, like that's why I don't have a spoiler policy for today because it becomes a clusterfuck. Yeah, the
Every
pick's in, but still don't know who it is.
Well, they're announcing it now.
We're gonna get all this drum roll shit, and it's gonna be like a fucking kicker or something.
I doubt it.
Oh, that'd be happy. That would make me happy.
Come on.
Alex Arma
scores.
is announcing the pick.
What? Really?
I
That's
think
awesome.
I know
Oh,
who
there
Alex
it is. It's on
Arma
TV.
with
it is.
with a guy in a wheelchair and Sir Purr.
It's Jordan Scarlett.
Jordan.
A running back. Jordan Scarlett, running back from Florida. That's actually not terrible.
I know it's not terrible, but it's so memey for Herney.
It's so Panthers.
Yeah.
It's so Panthers.
He had 18 this is for Chris.
Oh, he's actually pretty decent.
Of course, he's pretty decent. He's like the third running back taken. Nobody's taken any.
John, I'm getting a tweet embedded for you.
Okay, I'm putting in pictures.
Behind the curtains again. Can't get this anywhere else.
This is how all our articles work. Brad holds our hands while we just type in names.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I'm selected. I should probably put the position. Running back. Jordan Scarlett.
Do you think the Panthers have a type? He's basically the exact same size as Christian McCaffrey.
Perfect.
Yeah, he's basically just somebody to
Do you need
spell
anything else?
McCaffrey. I'm getting your headlines done.
Okay. I have the publish. You can. No, never mind. I'll wait. Are you gonna publish it when you're done, and then
Yeah.
I'll start.
Go ahead and publish. Go ahead and publish.
Okay, and I'll start.
And then go back in and write.
Publish now. Who is Jordan Scarlett?
Why did the Panthers waste the roster spot on Cameron Artis-Payne?
Depth.
So here's a sea change for you, and an interesting fact about Jordan Scarlett. Suspended for the entire 2017 season.
Oh.
Ooh, juicy.
Yeah, not a Boy Scout.
Yeah, a little. Give us an edge.
Why?
He's a bad boy.
Oh man, this kid they're showing on ESPN is a terrible kicker. My God. No leg strength. He's like 3 years old and he kicked a football and it just kind of fell off the tee. Nope, not that Jordan Scarlett. Apparently, there's a Jordan Scarlett soccer player.
I think I misspelled his name. I think it's with one T at the end.
Is it?
I think.
No.
It's two T's.
No, it is two T's. Okay.
College stats.
Huh. Okay, Jordan Scarlett among 4 suspended Gators reinstated after credit card fraud charges.
Oh wow.
Mm. That's the first time we ever drafted a Gator.
Chomp chomp.
He averaged. All right, so
Apparently 9 players on the team were suspended in total.
Oh, that big scheme. Okay, yeah, he was involved in that.
Yep. He got suspended for the entire season though, so he must have been pretty
He
heavy
must,
involved.
yeah.
Each of the 9 suspended Gators were charged with using stolen credit card numbers last summer to pay for items including laptops, iPads, Beats headphones, and takeout food orders.
Why would you do that? Why
Cat
would you?
Boy.
Oh my God, that is so stupid.
Yeah, that's not very smart. But at least it's not, violence.
He's also older than Christian McCaffrey, FYI.
What? I mean, yeah, somebody just said in the thread, well, credit card fraud is a felony. Yes, it is.
It is. At
but it's
least
not like a bad
violent.
person crime.
But
just
it's not like domestic violence, rape, murder, things like that. And to me, it's a little different. I think those kind of mistakes don't really. He doesn't have a history of being violent towards people,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm not downplaying the fact that it's a crime.
Yeah.
But if we're going to draft somebody who has a criminal instance in their past, that's the kind of crime I want it to be.
Yeah, it's mostly a victimless crime. The person, whoever's credit card numbers got used, they got their money back. So
Yeah.
the only victims are the sellers of the products that were bought with.
Yeah,
From
exactly.
charges.
Which does suck. I mean, it's basically
Yeah, but I'm not. Nobody feels bad for Best Buy or
Beats.
Target or
Yeah, in this
Beats.
case, yeah, no, exactly. I doubt they bought most of this stuff from a mom and pop shop. And I think in most of their cases, insurance companies cover that.
Yeah, the insurance companies are the real victims here, and who feels sorry
there's
for
no-
them.
And to be honest, fuck them.
Okay, so we're most likely not making a trade today because we only have 1 pick left. And we can't trade unless he wants to trade like next year's 5th to jump up in the 6th round to get somebody he wants. I'm pretty confident we're not going to trade today, which means we will.
No, we're certainly not going to trade up at this point. They've made it clear that they feel like they've addressed their needs, so now it's just gravy.
Yeah,
If
I hope
anything,
so.
and again, doesn't really matter. Trade back, whatever the hell. Who cares? At this point, it doesn't matter.
Oh, this is a great 1-2 comment in the open thread. R. Scott 94 said, Florida guys sell this guy to me. And Robob Zoy says, I'm not believing anything coming from Florida man.
Yeah.
To me, he seems way too redundant with Cameron Artis-Payne. He doesn't seem like a guy.
That's what I don't understand. Like, why did we draft a running back when we signed Cameron Artis-Payne to a 1-year deal? Like, I get that they want to bring somebody in to spell McCaffrey, but I thought we'd already done that with Cameron Artis-Payne.
Well, because by drafting a guy in the 5th round, you effectively just gave somebody a cheap 4-year deal.
Well, that is true. That is true. I mean, I find it impossible to legitimately be mad about a 5th round pick. So, maybe he can be a kick returner.
No, I'm not mad about it. I mean, he seems like a talented running back. So who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oldie is in pure Miami form. Probably won't even make the 53-man roster.
I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't make it.
It wouldn't surprise me if he got
Ask
cut.
Oldie how Brad Kai is doing.
And Scarlett has got some big arms. Apparently, he can bench press 465 pounds.
Well, that's
Dang.
I mean, if you look at the guy, he basically, like, as far as his physique, is a carbon copy of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Bill Voss says at least Scarlett will fit in for hashtag Flex Friday.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely will. Good Lord. Interestingly enough, Jordan Scarlett retweeted Will Greer last night when Will Greer tweeted, "Keep pounding."
It's a conspiracy.
The whole
It's all
draft is a
rigged.
conspiracy. It's all rigged. We already know who we have.
Yep.
So you know what's interesting here is that I think Greer and Scarlett were at Florida at the same time.
Yeah.
And both of them were suspended from the university during their time at Florida for one reason or another.
Yeah, Greer got caught with PEDs.
I mean, yeah, I'm not trying to like downplay or act like it doesn't matter because it probably doesn't, but I just found that notable because I mean Gettleman was pretty rigid with that, you know, his character guys.
Yeah.
I mean, we've always been like that with Herney too. So
Well, I think it's just
I mean,
we
all
were
the
always like
Greg
that.
Hardy-
We were always like that with Jerry Richardson. Like it was always JR, not Herney.
So it seems like Scarlett's specialty is yards after contact above anything else.
So can I share something with you
not
guys?
surprised.
Nope, you can't, Billy. You're shut down.
So
more.
Josh, you guys know who Josh Norris is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Norman.
No, Norris.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah, he follows the draft. I mean, really closely. And he said Scarlett sucks. He just DM'd me.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I'm like, I really have no opinion on the guy. Some people like him, some people don't. I don't really know. It's to me, it just seems like another Cameron Artis-Payne. Like I don't get it.
Well, I mean, for a fifth rounder, I mean, there's only so much you can expect. I don't even know who is available and who is not.
Yeah,
I
this is
mean-
outside my depth as far as the draft goes.
I consider yards after contact to be a pretty important stat, and he seems to be good at that. I mean, I don't know. He's clearly not, even though he looks like Christian McCaffrey, looking at his stats, he's not a Christian McCaffrey type back. He's not a ball catching back.
Yeah, he's only going to be in there for the like 4 plays that McCaffrey isn't on the field for.
That's if
That's
Cameron
pretty-
Artis-Payne doesn't take a snap.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And he might return kicks, assuming he even makes the team.
Seems like we could have just called Tyler Gaffney.
Yeah,
He's
Well,
playing
I mean,
baseball
he
now.
was
He's busy.
athletic.
Oh, it's a hot
Michael
take.
Jackson just got drafted.
Michael Jackson Sr.
Michael Jackson and Michael Jordan drafted in the same
What a
draft.
draft!
What a draft.
What a draft.
I think we should probably end the live show on that thought. What
I
a draft.
Agree. I am tired and hungry.
And I don't really want
And
to break
sad.
down I don't want to wait and break down the 6th round pick. So, because I know nobody's going to care who it is.
Well,
Oh, people will care, Brad.
Oh, well, that is
People
true.
will care.
So I'm
People will care,
also
but
being told by someone that Scarlett was also suspended during his freshman year for weed.
He missed the bowl game. Yeah.
who cares about weed though?
I
the
mean,
NFL.
no, hold on. I don't think it. Yeah, I agree with you. Yes, it should be legalized, all that stuff. But that's 2 suspensions, like during his time in college. I think that's a little notable, in my opinion.
I agree with you.
It's lit, fam. That's all I'm gonna say.
It shows that he does not have good judgment.
It shows that he does not have good judgment. Yes.
which means he's a perfect fit for the Carolina Panthers running back position because a lot of running backs that come here that aren't Christian McCaffrey have bad judgment. Oh!
Or in D'Angelo
CJ
Williams'
Anderson
case,
burn.
they're just judgy.
Yeah. So is that where we're going to end it?
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to the show, guys. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and letting us entertain you by talking about football. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Look for Keep Sounding. And we'll probably do a draft wrap-up show next week, so be on the lookout for that. And for those of you who were listening yesterday, be on the lookout for mine and John's new project that we were talking about. We'll probably be starting that sometime soon as well. And stay tuned for the 6th round pick that'll be coming up in probably another hour or so. We'll have all the coverage that you need for that on Catch Scratch Reader.
Bye, guys.
Later, guys.
Bye.